The Ravens Flock presents The Black Files, an uncensored interview and review podcast for all geek fandom.
Welcome everybody, friends and pals, guys and gals, boys and girls around the world. Pop a squat, pop open a cold one with all of your friends. It is Wednesday night, a couple hairs past 10 p.m., and you've been granted access to the uncompromising and uncensored, unfiltered interview and review podcast of the Ravens Flock. So, whether you're a friend or you're a fiend, boy, girl, or in between, you are tuned in to a brand new episode of The Black Files.
All right, fantastic. I'm really grateful to be here with my friends. Grateful to be here on Wednesday, November 6th. I know that there's a lot that we need to get off our chest, and we're all going to have a chance to do it.
I really hope so, because there's a lot that we need to figure out. There's a lot that needs to be done now, and I know that I'm not the only one. I know that I'm not the only one who feels like this stuff, and I know there are plenty of others, which is why we're doing this tonight. Self-healing be damned right now. Right now, I'm helping the rest of us out as best I can. So, welcome everybody to the Black Files. I'm your host, Juan Arouse, one of the heads of the Ravens Flock, the tech guru of the team. I'm a guy who can tell you exactly how shit can get rigged and how it doesn't. Alright? And I'll tell you right now, I have no fucking words here. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking try to sugarcoat my language tonight, and I don't give a damn how anyone can say of it over here. Folks, and of course I'm not alone tonight. I'm joining me our wonderful tag team of cosplayers extraordinaire. Let's give it up for Zayana Rose and Dragon Fan Cosplay. Give it up for the fine ladies over here, the flock.
Normally we would be like, but right now it's just anger and disbelief,
hatred, disgust,
annoyance.
Wanting to go out into the forest and scream.
See, this is why people say your vote does count. Because if you just say, my vote doesn't count,
That's
then
one vote.
and you think, oh, it's
can
just
make the
one
difference.
vote. But then you don't think of other people saying, oh, my vote won't count. So that's two people. Another one, three, and more, and more, and more.
And then
Your
it could
vote
get to
does
a
fucking
million.
count.
And then it could get up to 1 million votes that won't get cast.
Yeah, we
with
are
that
very
mentality.
frustrated. And honestly, next time, because I've heard of some issues with mail-in ballots, I think next time we actually might vote in person.
Yeah,
If we're able to vote,
there
that's
is
the thing.
a-
Assuming
Another
we're
election.
allowed to vote anymore.
Assuming that this doesn't turn out to be a dictatorship, like a certain thing that happened in a certain country in Europe.
About 100 years ago, almost to this
90,
day.
92 days.
Years?
Or 92 years to the day.
Yeah, what was the country's name? What did it cause a lot of death again?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's Germany with the Holocaust, with the Nazis. We're literally about to repeat history. Except guess what? I don't think they're really starting to teach that anymore in schools.
No, they're not. They're getting rid of that. Like, they're getting rid of slavery.
Yeah, so we're not mincing our words tonight. We are very frustrated and angry. And I mean, it's okay. We got whiskey right now.
I appreciate that, ladies. And of course, let's also not forget the head of the Ravens Flock himself, the executive producer and content manager of our channel, host of Wrestle Rewind live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, and host of the Ravens Flock live every Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Give it up for Mr. Jose Casabona!
Thank you very much for that introduction. Again, happy to be here with all my friends. I'm very grateful to be here with my friends. And I'm grateful for the viewers that are currently watching tonight. Sadly, I do not have any alcohol in my system, but I should probably remedy that this weekend or whenever, or as soon as possible.
Here's hoping that we don't do anything crazy like that. And Jose, why don't you go ahead and take care of the other bits of the show while we get this ball rolling, if you'd be so kind.
Yeah, no problem. Folks, like all our other shows, we are simulcasting on YouTube and Kick. Hit the subscribe or the follow button on the bottom right corner of your screen. Click the bell icon to enable notifications. Leave your questions and comments below. We'll answer as many as we can. And if you wish to go above and beyond to support the Ravens flock, then you can become an inner flocker. For $4.99 a month, you'll have access to all the perks that comes with our membership. Should I tell them, or do you want to tell them?
I'll take care of that part, Jose.
Go for it.
All right. All right, and well, folks, for all the interflockers we've got in our chat, and I know we have plenty. Go ahead and show off those lovely membership badges and custom emojis, letting everyone know that you are here to help rescue the Ravens flock from the clutches of late-stage capitalism to become full-time streamers. Since 2013, we've been working hard and staying strong to make your voice our mission. The only thing standing in our way now is the fact that we have to work 9 to 5 jobs just to keep our lights on. However, there is a simple solution to that, and all it takes is your fine support. Just continue sharing the word of the Ravens flock. Let everybody know that we've been working since 2013 to make your voice our mission, to share the words of to share the news in the world of geek culture, nerd culture, pop culture, and everything in between. The more followers we can get, the more subscribers we get, the more inner flockers can be converted out of that, and before you know it, we'll be able to be self-sustaining over here, and we won't have to depend on any other job except for the one we would love to do, which is actually work for you guys. With your continuing support, we can and will succeed. You also get access to members first and members only content, a special discount to our merch store, link in the description below, and you also get access to all of us, the Ravens flock, your favorite motley crew of nerds, here to make your voice our mission by providing us your thoughts, your input, your feedback, and your ideas to better shape the future of this channel to suit your tastes and needs. Up in the chat over here, we've got Lisa Boo in the chat, and Jordan Kirby's in the chat over here. Up here, Jordan Kirby is saying we're not having fun anymore. Listen, there's plenty of time for fun. We can have fun, but that doesn't mean we can ignore shit. I'm really sorry about that. We have to talk about this stuff because I know for a fact that I'm not the only one who feels this way. And I know for a fact that there are going to be others who feel the exact same way. And I want to try and give us some kind of relief or some kind of opportunity to try and express those sentiments. Or at the very least, try to express them in a way that lets people know how that they're not alone. So I appreciate that. Also, I see Sarah Serendi Magical Cosplay. How you doing, Sarah Serendi? Appreciate you here. Let's see. Kurisi Rando-sama was here for a moment, and she decided to leave. She was saying, all I have to say is that we're all entitled to our opinions. Let's see. And then after that, she said, yeah, I'm done with this Nazi talk. I'm out. Y'all are idiots. Are you serious? Kurisi? You can't handle discussion. I'm gonna have to handle shit for the next 4 years, and you can't handle me or my friends saying that? Come on.
Here's the thing. We're not saying that everyone who voted is that. It's, for me personally, it's the people who mindlessly follow, and I'm saying anyone. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. Anyone who follows anyone just blindly and agrees with what they say without doing their research, then yes, it's going to end up turning exactly like the Nazis. And people who end up not seeing the signs and just turn their cheek, that's exactly what a lot of people did back then in Germany. And they caused the death of a lot of people because they were compliant. They could have easily helped people escape and everything.
And yet they didn't.
And yet they were cowardly.
And personally, a lot of Trumpers are tending to be like a cult.
All right, real quick, I've also got to say hi here. Ulysses Fartknocker, I'm so angry with our country, from the fools who voted for Trump to those who simply didn't bother to. I'm honestly more furious that you had a choice between a felon and a woman. I mean, Jesus. I know, seriously. Kyle Canada's in the chat. Hey, up there, Kyle Canada. Welcome. D. Joseph Santos is in the chat. How you doing, D. Joseph Santos? We appreciate you being here. Mr. Geek Me Out, I like take be Donald Trump, be president, then Kamala Harris. Why? You're welcome to explain your case over here. So you're more than welcome to explain yourself on that one. Brandon Ogden is in the chat.
Just don't call us Nazis.
No, like word's gonna get thrown around tonight. I don't care anymore. Also, Brandon Ogden's in the chat over here. Hey up, Brandon Ogden. We appreciate you being here. And yeah, before I continue, I do also want to give a shout out to our partners over at our friends over at Glitch Energy. Glitch Energy is a specially formulated smart energy blend, keeps you running strong all day long, just like the Ravens flock, with 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 0 calories, and 0 crash. It's also great is that it comes if you head to glitchenergy.com and you take a look at their wide range of different flavors, and you'll see that there's a wide variety with over 30 different flavors to choose from. And if you head to glitchenergy.com and use our promo code FlockFuel, you get 20% off your order. So go ahead and check out glitchenergy.com. Use our promo code FlockFuel for 20% off. And like I said, they've got the Dragon Mead flavor, which is Dragon's Fruit flavored, inspired by the streamer Rain Above. So head to glitchenergy.com, use our promo code FlockFuel for 20% off your order, and thank you to Glitch Energy for partnering with the Ravens Flock. Okay, I got that thing out. I've got that out of the way now. All right, so yeah, we all know what happened last night, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. We had the 2024 presidential election. Democratic nominee Kamala Harris came up short, and some fucking how former president, current convicted felon, and permanent rapist Donald Trump has been reelected. And he's now going to be 45th and 47th president. He's pulling a Teddy Roosevelt. He's hopscotching.
I thought it was Grover Cleveland.
Was it Grover Cleveland? I forgot.
Yeah, it was Grover Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It was Grover Cleveland. My bad. My mistake. I got the two mixed up. They both had mustaches. Sue me.
It's okay, dude. Don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, Grover Cleveland was the one who hopscotched over. So he was what, 24th and then 26th president? Yep, that's what it says.
Yes, correct.
Right. So and the really fucked up part about it all is the fact that the actual fucking map of the presidential election is still showing that it's still fucking processing, because Nevada and Arizona haven't finished their counts yet, but they're still like, with 87% reporting in Nevada going towards Trump, and 67% in Arizona going towards Trump. That's the fucking depressing part. Trump got 295 electoral votes, whereas Kamala Harris had 226 electoral votes out of everything. And I am beside myself. And what's her face? And I'm just trying to figure out what happened. I really am, because this doesn't add up. At least not to me. I will happily listen to any logical fucking explanation how this shit happened the way it did. Now, I've been seeing a lot of talk online talking about how there were 18 million votes that got thrown out completely. And I don't know how much validity there is to that claim. And I was wrong. Grover Cleveland was 22nd and 24th president. So, yeah, there again, I'm fucking wrong. I'm wrong. See, I can do that shit. I can say I was wrong. Fuck, what the hell is wrong with people who can't fucking do that? I honestly don't understand it. So, I know y'all were watching the election last night, ladies. Zayana Dragonfang.
We had to tap out.
Yeah.
We were getting so pissed off.
I was yelling.
Because also, I'm sorry, but you should not be calling a state until all votes are counted. And I'm saying this for any presidency, Democrat, Independent, Republican. They should. I don't care how long it takes. They need to count all the votes and then call the state. That is my opinion.
But them suddenly announcing, "Oh yeah, Trump won," when most of the counts haven't been, counted yet. You stop spreading misinformation.
Or at the very least, wait until the fucking wait until there's
At least
actual fucking
90% then.
Yeah.
Because if you call it 50, I mean, then there's the other 50%. What if all that is Democrat, all that is Republican? You can't know. Now, see, and I also want to make it clear, yes, I'm a Democrat. However, if I saw a Democrat also starting to act completely fascist and everything, I would also completely, I would not vote for them.
I wouldn't
Oh
either.
no, but they've been shouting how Democrats are all the real Nazis and the real fascists this whole fucking time. All the whole
They're
time
not
while
the
Trump's
ones
like,
stripping away people's rights.
oh no, but they want you to wear a mask, Zayana. Don't you know? That's fascist. They want you to wear a mask. They want you to wear a mask while we're in the middle of a plague.
No, but you know what's the funny thing is that they made such a big deal about the mask? You know what they do over in Japan if they're sick to make sure if they sneeze or cough, the mask catches it? Yeah, it's not 100% perfect. However, it helps so that you respect the people around you and you don't get them sick. It's for everyone else's benefit. That's why I chose to wear the mask.
Yeah, same.
But see, that is not a right that's being taken away right there. The fact that now we, like a lot of us women who have a uterus, mind you, we can't, like, if we got raped or anything and we didn't even know that we were pregnant after 6 weeks, because, 6 weeks is way too early, I no longer have a choice. That is taking away a right. Taking away a right for transgender people who I know some of them, well, actually, a lot of them serve in the military. That's going to be stripped away. And yes, Trump has said that he will take away the rights and kick all the transgenders out of the military. He has said that before.
He said that several times, actually.
The fact that he also wants to go against LGBTQ, that's what I don't understand. That anyone who voted for him say that he is going to help them. No, he isn't. He wants to repeal gay marriage. How many of our friends are in gay marriages? A
Too
lot.
many.
Or even in the LGBTQ community. We have a ton of friends.
Too many.
Ton of transgender friends. And I'm sorry, if you are not part of LGBTQ and you're like, oh no, it's fine, you're not part of it. You don't know how people are freaking out. At least for us who are bi and everything, it's easy to hide, even with being gay or lesbian. Other people don't have that luxury.
Isn't that sweet?
It's
we got 2 down votes
very
over here. Isn't that
frustrating.
fucking sweet? Isn't that sweet?
So,
Isn't
like I
that
said, like
precious?
I don't condemn all Republicans or all Democrats, independents who voted for Trump. It's simply the fact that he has been doing so many parallel things that Hitler has done. Saying the media lies. Only one type of media who always praises me is the right one.
Turning people against another.
A certain race / religion / people. That is another thing. They did that with the Jews. Then they started with the disabled and the elderly and LGBTQ. Again, I would be condemning Democrats if they did the same freaking thing.
Republican,
With a
Democrat,
smile on my
doesn't matter.
fucking face, I'd be doing the exact
I
same thing.
even looked up an article. J.D. Vance, 8 years ago, in the lead up to 2016 presidential election, he was a very bitter critic of Donald Trump. Funny that he ended up,
His vice
switching
president now.
and is vice president. He even compared him to Adolf Hitler.
He's JD fucking Vance,
And
who
that's
has no
saying something.
morals, who has no clear set of bounds except for fuck you, I'm getting mine.
Yeah, so I'm sorry if I offend anyone by comparing him to Hitler, but you know what? Your new vice president literally did that 8 years ago.
And if JD Vance really enjoys just being close to power that much, I guess the fact that Trump turned on his last fucking vice president the last time around, and
He also tried
convinced
to get him
his
killed.
mob of cult followers to hang him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
tried to
there's
get
no fucking
killed.
loyalty there, buddy. So I hope JD Vance has some life insurance, and I hope he isn't too fond of his neck. Because clearly
Also-
he doesn't give a fuck.
I also did look up something that Trump had said before about disabled people, and this is actually from was it from Fred Trump 3?
Fred Trump the third, yeah, his grandson.
Yeah. That when he actually ended up meeting with Trump, and apparently, quoting from him, Trump said, those people, the shape they're in, all the expenses, maybe those kind of people should just die.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah,
My goodness.
yeah. You have to understand something. Fred Trump the third is his like grandnephew, basically. Rather, no, he's the nephew of Donald Trump. His brother was Fred Trump Jr., who, all intents and purposes, had passed away back in 1981. Because he really didn't want to be in the family business. He just was wanting to be an airline pilot. He freaking just passed away from alcohol use. And like a fucking prick, Donald Trump couldn't be bothered to give a shit about his older brother. And what do you call it? Fred the third, his nephew, has a son named William, who was born with cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
And that's where what's his fucking face, where Trump had basically said, oh, with these people with these problems with these accommodations, all these disabled people, it'd be easier for them if they just died. Yeah, you're right. That's an actual fucking thing that he said. And if you don't want to fucking believe me, folks, you're more than welcome to look this up on your own. Or if you'd like, I can show you. You'll probably say that I'm faking. You're probably going to say that Zayana and I are making it up, or that we're just being salty, or that we're crying liberal tears, or whatever the fuck.
I mean, there are also like several articles about this.
Mm-hmm.
That
So
you could easily look up.
Oh, no, but everyone's lying. It's a big conspiracy.
and again,
Everybody's lying. It's about Dear Leader.
that is the key issue. The thing that I'm getting at is the fact that whenever something is negatively said about him, he says it's fake news.
Or he
Here's
just
the
says
thing.
it's a lie when it's clearly on TV.
The Ravens flock, we fucking call out even Democrats who do stupid shit.
Which, by the way, here's a little moment for you
no one is
motherfuckers.
safe.
By the way, here's something for you guys. The biggest mistake Kamala Harris did was even hinting at putting a spotlight on an endorsement she received from Liz and Dick Cheney.
Oh,
That's number one. Because, oh yeah, sure, I totally want the thumbs up and A-OK from the fucking jackass who ran the White House puppeteering George W. Bush and got millions of people fucking dragged into a war we didn't fucking want in Iraq because he's got a fucking personal hit list. The second stupidest fucking thing that Kamala Harris and her campaign had fucking done is not give any certain fucking voice towards aiding the Palestinians in their struggle to fucking survive the massacre they're going.
and see, we will condemn her for that because honestly, that
Call her out.
that really did fuck over her chances.
Unfortunately,
It also is why people are not happy with Biden either, because he's also complacent.
No, like, here's the thing. Biden is a dyed-in-the-wool Christian Zionist. He is a Christian person who believes in the project of the nation of Israel from a purely political standpoint. He doesn't freaking have any sort of qualms about, oh yes, let's go ahead and make sure that Israel is fully armed to the teeth and they get to bully everyone around them all over the sun because there must be a Jewish state. And he thinks it comes from a principled place, where in actuality it comes from a twisted form of Christian dominionism, where it comes from a form of twisted psychosis where, oh, by the way, if there's a nation of Israel, then that means that the end times can start, and that Jesus Christ can return down and start rapturing everyone in the world by murdering all the Jews. That's what Zionism boils down to from a Christian fundamentalist standpoint. That's the only reason why you have so many whacked out Christian folks who go die hard on on the project of Israel as a country, rather than actually letting it be a secular nation state, instead of it being what it is now, which is an ethno state based purely on xenophobia against their other neighbors from the Muslim and Arab world around them, which is bullshit. Ulysses Fartknocker over here in the chat was saying, let's see here. Always show your work, Juan. I get so sick of people telling me to look it up when talking about any sort of topic. Conspiracy theories mostly. Show me your work because I'm not doing your homework. Okay, you're absolutely right. I should show you exactly what I mean over here. Okay, let's see here. So, yeah. Trump. Disabled son. Okay. Let me fucking pull this up real quick, because I'm actually trying to... Yep. Okay. You don't want to believe... if no one wants to believe me, here's source. Okay. And you want to... And anyone who wants to try and contest this, coming directly from the horse's mouth of Fred Trump III, his nephew, his actual, blood relative over here, here we go. I've got you covered. I've got you... I've got your hookup over here. And you're absolutely right, Ulysses Fartknocker. I shouldn't just leave it to others to do the legwork for me. And here we go. Okay, so here's the first and best direct quote over here that we can get, published in People magazine, published September 9th. Headline on it reads, Donald Trump's great-nephew, William, 25, is nonverbal and uses a wheelchair. Here's what William's dad wants you to know. Underneath, and this comes to us by Kyler Alvord. Let's see. William is the most courageous and inspirational person I've met. Fred Trump III tells People of his son after recently alleging that Donald said severely disabled people, quote, should just die. Fred C. Trump III has been hoping this moment would arrive for more than 20 years. A moment where he can leverage his polarizing last name to advocate for the disabled community on behalf of his 25-year-old son, William, who has complications from a rare genetic mutation. Fred, a nephew of former President Donald Trump, recently entered the spotlight with the release of his book, All in the Family, The Trumps and How We Got This Way, in which he describes growing up in the Trump dynasty and details his experience raising a child with complex intellectual and developmental disabilities. In one shocking excerpt from the book that immediately made headlines, Fred, 61, claimed that Donald, 78, once told him to, quote, just let William die due to the cost of care, even after Fred brought advocates to the Oval Office to discuss how the government should be more supportive of disabled people and their families. Donald's spokesperson has dismissed the many allegations and quotes in Fred's book as, quote, completely fabricated, calling them, quote, total fake news of the highest order. Fred maintains that they're real stories. Let's see here. The publicity from All in the Family, which undoubtedly got more attention due to Donald's controversial presidential run, has already opened the door for more promising conversations about disability rights than he had while his uncle was president. Civil rights and voting rights started with a movement, Fred told People. If I have a national platform, which apparently I do right now, I think I have to start a movement. See, here's a photo of Fred Trump III when he was younger, with his wife Lisa holding their son William at the NICU in 1999. It's an adorable little baby over here. like, I'm gonna freaking continue. Fred had wanted to improve the way that disabilities are viewed by the American public and handled the U.S. healthcare system since he and his wife Lisa were thrust into uncharted territory after William's birth. The couple's first 2 children were born healthy, and until William arrived, there were no indications that he would have had a different experience than his older siblings. You talk about life-changing. When you have a child who has hundreds of seizures a day like William did, it literally, like, where did they come from? Why were they here, he adds. It literally took Lisa 15 years of investigating through the internet and such to find out that he had a genetic mutation called KCNQ2. 2 years ago, William, who is nonverbal and uses a wheelchair, moved into a group home about 20 minutes away from his parents in Connecticut for around-the-clock care. Soon after, Fred started to reflect on his experiences and how he fit into the larger Trump family's narrative. He wrote on the family with the idea that in addition to having a memoir component, it could be used as a resource for other parents who feel like they're drowning to adapt to a new normal. There's something I read years ago, pretty much 20 years ago, someone said, parents don't expect or want to have a child who's blind or has a genetic mutation or has autism, he says. What my wife Linda and I tried to do in the book is let folks know what opportunities there are to gain knowledge on how to deal with the issues you're presented with that you didn't expect. Another photo there, Fred Trump III with his son, William, who's harnessed and buckled down into the wheelchair. You see what I'm like? I'm hang on. I'm gonna share with the flock over here so they can see me, so they can see my
go right ahead.
All right, so y'all can see. Give me a minute. 3, 2, 1. All right, you see him?
Yes.
Ziana, Dragonfang, you see the photo there? Ladies?
Yep, we do.
Yep.
No, they said yes.
Okay,
Yes.
sorry, I couldn't hear. I couldn't tell. I apologize.
Yeah,
All right. Fred's book also expresses the need for disability rights even at the highest levels of government. People with severe disabilities are human beings, he tells people. They have thoughts and dreams and they have meaning. Donald had a difficult time understanding William's health issues from the beginning. Fred claims in his book in 2009, Fred, whose father had died in 1981, met with Donald to ask for help covering the costs of William's medical care and therapy. So what's the problem with him anyway? Donald reportedly asked, according to the book. Like, what's wrong with him? Fred writes that he explained how doctors believe William had a genetic disorder, but we're still trying to pinpoint a diagnosis. Donald allegedly responded, "Not in our family. There's nothing wrong with our genes." In the end, Fred convinced all of his father's siblings, Marianne, Elizabeth, Donald, and Robert, to set up a joint medical fund for William. There's the one photo that he took, Fred Trump III and Donald in the Oval Office. During Donald's presidency, William says he visited the Oval Office about a dozen times for a variety of reasons. When his uncle's team connected him with officials at the Department of Health and Human Services to discuss his advocacy goals, he recognized that he was privileged to have a direct line to the nation's top decision makers. That insider access made it especially disheartening when, in May 2020, Fred says he learned that the commander-in-chief had been unmoved by his and other disability advocates' emotional presentation about making smarter investments to support disabled people and caretakers. After the meeting, Fred alleges in his book, Donald pulled him aside and said, quote, "Those people, the shape they're in, all the expenses, maybe those kind of people should just die." Donald allegedly repeated a similar, more pointed line later on when William's medical fund began running low and Fred called his uncle to ask for continued financial support. According to Fred's book, which the former president disputes, Donald responded, "I don't know, he doesn't recognize you. Maybe you should just let him die and move down to Florida." Clearly taking issue with Donald's assessment, Fred tells people, quote, "William is the most courageous and inspirational person I've met. He needs assistance with everything he does, but there's somebody within him. There is." Fred says that only a few weeks ago, a spokesperson for Donald alerted him that William's medical fund had been dissolved. With an elevated profile from his memoir, Fred is more determined than ever to affect change in the disability space, and he's putting pressure on elected officials and political candidates to help. "I'm not just going to be a face," he said of his new platform. "I'm going to be a mouth." Fred has three main areas that he hopes to see improved: caregiver training and funding, housing options, and prevention by training medical professionals to identify and treat conditions early on in a child's life. He has already met with some lawmakers, and recently he spoke at an event for the American Association of People with Disabilities. After trying and failing to make inroads with his uncle's administration, Fred announced that he would be backing Vice President Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. But while he has expressed a willingness to campaign for her and was even invited as one of her guests at the Democratic National Convention in August, she won't get a free pass. I've made it very clear to the Harris campaign at high levels that disability advocacy is super important to me, and I'm not letting it go, he said. Whether it's a potential Trump administration or a potential Harris administration, we're going to hold their feet to the fire. End quote. All right, so that's the end of the article. I hope that that's sufficient to make my point. Ulysses Fartnocker.
No, you're good, Juancho. And
I'm asking that because Ulysses Fartnocker made a good point. Don't just take my word. And don't just ask people to, just do your own homework. You're right. I'm going to show you the homework, just like we have to show everyone our homework.
Yeah, and Ulysses Fartnocker then replied saying, I do believe you, just whenever given the opportunity, always cite sources. These other asswipes saying to look it up use sites like InfoWars or some horribly edited wiki page.
All right. I appreciate that, Ulysses. Thank you very much. All right, Vicente Guerrero also, by the way, is in the chat. Hey, Vicente Guerrero, welcome to the Black Files. Let me take a look over here. I will not say Trump is without faults, but his politics could and most likely be better than what Biden and Harris gave us. Tons of people were broke, gas, food, and home prices skyrocketed. Even if you hate Donald Trump and his family, J.D. Vance, along with Caroline Levitt and Tulsi Gabbard, are a good fit for the White House. Speaking disability, I had cerebral palsy all my life. All right, here's the thing. J.D. Vance is an oligarch, is a puppet for oligarchs. He's literally Peter Thiel's sugar baby. He doesn't do anything that Peter Thiel doesn't tell him to do. He's got one argument that I keep seeing, by the way, since we brought up since J.D. Vance got brought up and Kamala Harris, it keeps getting brought in as like, oh, the Biden/Harris administration, and I've even seen the argument being made that, oh, Kamala Harris has been in the White House for 4 years already and she hasn't changed anything. Would you like to know how little executive power the Vice President of the United States of America actually has? Would you
They're
guys
pretty much
like
the
to know?
backup. They are the backup.
If anything happens to the president, they're the backup.
That's all it is. That's all it really is over here. And I'm gonna show you guys exactly what's up, because I need to get this in and out of the way. And I'm not talking about Trump, oh, I hate him because he does mean tweets. I don't like the fucking guy because he is the clearest, most obvious, the most painstakingly right in your face charlatan that has ever existed. Everything about him has been a lie. Everything. The reason why he's worth billions is because he's taken out shitloads of bank loans that he defaults on. And instead of paying any of them off, he goes and pulls out other loans from other banks. Then he goes to other foreign
bankruptcy.
countries. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And just to remind everyone exactly how little executive power the Vice President of the United States of America actually holds, I show you directly to the page of the United States Senate itself. Here you go. The Constitution names the Vice President of the United States as the President of the Senate. In addition to serving as presiding officer, the Vice President has sole power to break a tie vote in the Senate and formally presides over the receiving and counting of electoral ballots cast in presidential elections. Today, Vice Presidents serve as principal advisors to the President, but from 1789 until the 1950s, their primary duty was to preside over the Senate. Since the 1830s, vice presidents have occupied offices near the Senate chamber. Over the course of the nation's history, the vice president's influence evolved as vice presidents and senators experimented with, and at times vigorously debated, the role to be played by this constitutional officer. That's it! Never in the Constitution, nor in any of the 26 subsequent amendments that have been made in our 250 years, has the vice president been given any additional executive power of any kind. Kamala Harris, just like Joe Biden was before, just like Mike Pence was before him, and just like Dick Cheney was before them, were little more than glorified pencil pushers. They were little more.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It's not, like, I'm not even trying to say this shit in a hyperbolic tense. That's literally it. Like, that's literally all they get to do. So, like, yeah, everyone, like, and I even see it in here, like, folks are fucking, asking about the same exact shit on the Reddit boards and on, like, Twitter pages. Like, for example, on the r/askpolitics, what powers does the vice president really have? A talking point in turn. This is from a user named Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, hey, mate. A talking point it's hard to see is, why didn't Kamala Harris make good on all these campaign promises while she was vice president? Or, she had 3.5 years in office, why didn't she get anything done? To my knowledge, the vice president has no real tangible power apart from casting a tie-breaking vote in the Senate. All they can do is publicly support the president, advocate for social or political causes, and encourage Congress to act. Am I missing something? Yeah, no. And like folks are fucking saying it over here. Nah, you got it. The power of a vice president largely depends on the president they serve under and how much power that president is willing to delegate to the vice president. Evaluating how much power a sitting vice president has is futile, as such questions can only be answered in a holistic approach as each part of the study of history. Ex post facto, we have a much better gauge of the dynamics of a presidential administration, as variables cease to change in reference to an administration when that administration ends. Any substantive analysis of Harris's vice presidency won't be available for at least 20 years. And the person responding, okay, that's what I figured. Thanks, y'all. And that was voted like one of the top answers over here. Moderator, let me see here. Oh, that's just here's our rules. Yeah. That was the top upvoted thing. This is why that argument is flat. That is a non-argument. So if anyone wants to try to say anything along the lines of, oh, well, J.D. Vance was vice president for 3.5 years, why didn't he do all the stuff that he was over here saying? Because that's not his fucking job. He doesn't have that kind of actual power. No vice president has any actual power.
Also, we have to say that when people are saying, well, why didn't so-and-so president get stuff done that they promised? It all depends on the House and the Senate, because if they're fighting you tooth and nail, of course nothing will get done.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, Ulysses Farducker actually got it. The vice president is basically the White House's donut tire should anything happen. Yeah. No, that's literally it.
That's a perfect comparison.
Yeah, it
that's
is.
a perfect comparison. Now, that being said, yeah, no, like, to speak, to get a little personal here, if you guys don't mind, like,
by all means, this is what we're about tonight. Is
before the election day, like, let's do a brief little timeline, like, the basic timeline here, because, like, when Kamala Harris started running for president after Joe Biden was deemed old as shit to be running, they had their first and last and only debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And let's call a spade a spade. Kamala Harris wiped the floor with Donald Trump.
He also actually answered questions.
Yeah.
He didn't deviate.
On voiding them.
Yeah. She answered questions. She did not deviate. And she was actually
No, she did deviate a bit.
Deviate on stuff
Don't say that. She did deviate a bit.
She
we're
did
calling
deviate
her
a bit,
out.
but at least she wasn't spouting nonsensical nonsense like, "Oh, it's Springfield. They're eating the dogs." It's so stupid. And when Donald Trump was confronted about January 6th 4 years ago, instead of taking responsibility for inciting the insurrection, he completely deflected.
What was his little line? Oh yeah, stand back and stand by. He wasn't fucking trying to tell, oh guys, cut it out, or oh no, I disavow this violence. None of that shit. All he said is, "Oh, there are these good people. It was a gathering of love. There was so much love there, and all these
It
people
was
are
a love
just there to
fest.
show their love."
Said it was a love fest.
And he tried to blame Nancy. He tried to throw Nancy Pelosi under the bus for not doing her job, and that apparently he was just there to give a speech.
When
Which is
there have been reports that came out that showed a couple of things here. Number one, not only did Donald Trump know that his rally goers were going to be armed, and this is an argument that was being made in the whole thing of like, oh well, the people who were at the Capitol, none of them had any guns, none of them had any firearms. They went straight from the Ellipse Plaza and walked all the way over to Congress. And when they approached the Ellipse Plaza, his security detail and the actual security that were there were told to let them past the metal detectors by Trump himself, because his words were, and I quote, they're not here to hurt me. That's number one. And number two, there's also been footage uncovered of January 6 rioters who were at the Capitol, who were shooting up into the air, cheering and hollering. There was one motherfucker who was hanging on one of the on the scaffolding or whatever that they have outside of the outside of the Congress building, in order to, like, where they have like their constant repair on there. This guy who climbed up on there, he let off freaking shots and unloaded while people were shouting and screaming and cheering him on. I saw it with my own eyes, and and the moment I can find that video, I'll show you guys over here. Let's see in the chat. Sorry, go ahead.
I was like, and that's the thing. The insurrection happened because of Donald Trump. And again, it's also because he was goading people. Oh yeah, no, we will march down to the Capitol. I will march there beside you. He said that.
Even though he didn't go anywhere near them.
There are videos of him saying that.
Many videos, actually.
And that's the thing. The other side, and again, when I say Republicans, I don't mean all of them. I am mainly speaking about the ones who are the extremists. And again, yes, I know there are extreme Democrats too. But when they march upon the Capitol, that's wrong. You're not seeing Democrats saying that we're going to start marching. We will do protests.
Peaceful.
Because we want to protect our rights.
We do peaceful protests.
Now, you don't see any of us saying, we're going to do an insurrection, we're going to march on the Capitol now. I really hope no one's going to do that, because I'm going to fucking condemn them right now. Do not do that, because we are better than that. We will use our words. We are not going to use violence. Please, God, don't use violence. Please don't.
No, please, for the love of God. I want to be freaking physical. I want to just shake everyone like a fucking like they're a fucking infant and I'm trying to snap their neck or whatever. I want to shake them like there's nobody business, but I know that doesn't accomplish anything. I know that's not the right answer. That's not the right way to go.
If we are physically threatened, like someone's coming after us, yes, we will act in self-defense.
In
But
defense.
anyone would do that. But see, they said that the Democrats and the liberals, we don't take losing lightly. Well, for this, I mean, you don't see us again marching on the Capitol.
And
what did the some of those Trumpers do? March upon the Capitol.
Mm-hmm. And here we are. And I found the article with the guy that I was thinking about. I remember that Emmanuel was a name in the back of my head, but I also know that he was what do you call it? That he was the guy who was responsible on here. So I found it. This was an article from March of this year. NBC News comes in. Headline, Trump supporter charged with firing a gun during the January 6th Capitol attack. John Emanuel Banuelos, identified in an NBC News story 2 years ago, was arrested in Illinois 3 years later after he was first identified by online, quote, sedition hunters. There the guy fucking is. There's the fucking handgun he had on him. Right there. Black and white, clear as crystal. There was fucking video of this exact same guy. Yeah, no, this is the fucking one. I remember that dumbass hat. Out of all the dumbass Trump hats, I remember that one specifically. Because he was on top of a fucking construct of the Capitol building, and there he fucking was. I fucking remember. This was the fucking guy. And you even can tell that he was in there ready to go all hog. I would read the whole article and see there he fucking is. Boom. Fucking, like, genius level intellect with these fucking people. Just showing everybody in the world how big and bad they are with their fucking guns. Like, do I need any further? Like, there's photo right there. There is proof. Right fucking there. Don't go around trying to tell me that it was a love fest. Don't go around trying to tell me that that I shouldn't believe my lying eyes.
They have military grade zip ties.
Mm-hmm.
That they had on them in order to.
If it was peaceful,
if it was
you
peaceful,
would not
what the fuck did they need zip ties for? Unless they were trying to take Congress
guns
hostage.
Either.
Sorry, what was that last part?
You would not have guns. You would not have what was it? Handcuffs.
Oh, some of them had body armor, didn't they?
Yeah.
Some? Yeah.
Yeah.
You would not have all of those. You would have your signs and you would have your voice. They had way more than just a voice. They had zip ties. They had guns. They had body armor. They had handcuffs. They had a plan to
It may not have been a very well thought out or centralized or organized,
but it was still a
they
plan.
brought the tools. They knew what they were trying to do.
Yeah. And that's the scary part if you think about it. They went there for a reason, and that wasn't a peaceful reason.
And that's the thing. If they did that because he had lost the election, what are they going to do if
now that he's won
the Senate and the House and Trump end up passing things to make it legal for them to go after people? They're going to strip the rights. That is literally making us who are affected less human.
What is that one?
The
purge.
Yeah, like the
purge.
Let's see, if like right now, us women have less rights to our body than a corpse. A corpse,
Let that sink in.
you cannot touch their organs to give them to people who need them.
If they're not an organ.
Yeah, if they're not organ donor. But we can't have an abortion if it's life-threatening.
And it's our body. So why are you saying that we can't do to our body what we want?
And also the people who are saying that women are using abortion as birth control.
No, we're not.
I actually would like to see if there's actually anyone doing that, because if they do, fuck you, stop having sex. Actually use contraceptives.
I would also very much, with a smile on my face, like to see whoever these mythical women might be, who are
Because that's traumatic.
who are so happy to have, like, quote unquote, like post birth abortions, where they'll go ahead and they'll go through all the trouble of carrying the baby to term and having them and giving birth to them, only to make sure that let's just fucking snap their necks and let's see where whoever these mythical women are, who are freaking so elated and so happy, yay, I'm gonna go and have myself another one, because that doesn't fuck your body up all the time.
Yeah, and also that is murder if you do that to a newborn child.
Yeah.
So if there is anyone who does that, then they need to be arrested and charged with murder.
However,
And I don't care if they're liberal or Democrats.
They're
Doesn't
trying to
matter
define
who
newborn
they
child
are.
now as it counts as a newborn at conception, not at birth. At conception. That's when birth is that's when a newborn is officially declared. If you can detect a heartbeat from a zygote, which is like a little fucking shrimp looking thing that maybe has one tiny strand connecting it to the rest of the circulatory system and everything from the placental system that's built up and that connects it to the mother while it's in the womb. Sure. Let's go ahead and let's dictate that that's the same as a full-grown child or a full-grown baby. Yeah, sure. I'll fucking wait for that math out.
Yeah. And my take on abortion, people can't just get it willy-nilly. Like,
No, they can't.
oops, I got pregnant. Tee hee. I'm gonna have an abortion. And then they go and they get pregnant again. Oh, tee hee. Oops. Repeat offenders like that,
Do that.
that's wrong. If you are raped, if you need it because medically it's going to kill you, yeah. Like I'm sorry, but yes, there does need to be rules for their abortions. Yes, you can't just have it. Everyone can get an abortion no matter what. There needs to be what's the word? There needs to be regulations, yeah. There needs to be regulations of when it should be done and when it shouldn't be. But it's still up to the woman to do that. You shouldn't have to go through the man. I'm sorry, is the man carrying the child? The man wants to carry the child, then he can have a say so.
Oh, I would love to see that happen.
Women need to be the only ones who have a say so about their own bodies.
Correct. Now,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no. The one
and
thing
also
that
I really quick, sorry, before you continue, I will also condemn all Democrats who also think that women should not have rights to their body. So it's not just Republicans.
Yeah, we don't
it
care
is
what the label
Democrats
is. We
too.
care what the policy is.
Some time here.
Okay, now
Precisely.
you can go. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. I'm gonna say this right now, and this is going to be a little bit of a hot take for personally, but I am very ashamed of being Latino. Let me explain. Because despite all evidence, and I've actually posted this on my personal socials, despite all evidence pointing that Donald Trump is not the right candidate to be running for president and who should be behind bars by all rights, like despite all evidence, everything that he said, like the Latino voters, the Spanish voters are still voted for him, still supported him. And it's so disgusting. And it is so ridiculous seeing that happen. I had to, today, I had to, yeah.
I'll show that in a second. You go ahead as they keep talking.
Okay. I had to block someone, an acquaintance online who was Hispanic, and she was not only pro-Trump, but she also shared a chart that apparently like weaves politics with religion. And I'm like, nope, enough is enough. I'm done. Goodbye. and it's just gross. It's just fucking gross, and I am very ashamed of being a Latino right now. All right, I'm done.
No, I get you, Jose. And basically, this has been my take for anyone Hispanic or Latino who tries to go in for Donald Trump. This is my take. I would like to ask, do you ladies, Zayana and Dragonfang, do y'all know who these two are?
Not at first glance.
No.
Okay.
Enlighten us.
So, basically, the young lady in the black dress, that is the Tejana singer Selena. She was
Okay.
yeah, okay. I could fall in love with you. Like her,
Yes.
she like
Yes.
Bitty Bitty
Yeah.
Bubba. Jennifer Lopez did the movie of her, and that's how Jennifer Lopez got famous. The lady next to her is Yolanda Saldivar, who is a former nurse, who was the president of Selena's fan club, the manager of Selena's boutiques, and the woman who shot Selena and killed her.
Yeah.
I hope I don't need to make it any clearer than that when it comes to my opinion of Hispanic folks who throw their lot in behind Donald Trump. And we're over, like, you're probably thinking, like, oh, but people are allowed to have their different opinion, even if you're Hispanic, because Trump loves all the Hispanic peoples, doesn't he? Yeah, sure. He loved Puerto Ricans so much, he withheld aid after Hurricane Maria, if I'm not mistaken, and he withheld aid from them because they weren't very politically aligned with him in the last time that he was being elected. And he withheld aid for 180 days while the island was completely without electricity and without power. And when he showed up, he fucking showed up and started lobbing paper towel rolls at people. In a fucking press joke. In a fucking, like, I'm being so generous, I'm being the greatest, and all the Puerto Ricans love me. I'm the most Puerto Rican loved ever. No one loves Puerto Ricans more than me. No, fuck you. He doesn't love Puerto Ricans. He doesn't give a damn about Puerto Ricans. He doesn't give a damn about anyone. Except for himself. He never has, and he never will. Any form of basic human empathy was beaten out of him a long time ago, and he did not even bother to try and reclaim any of it. And if we have any doubt as to where Jose and I are most especially fucking perturbed, then you can look no further than to when all four of us, back 4 months ago, had gone through the paperwork of Project 2025, which is the grand master plan that Trump was swearing up and down, left and right, about, oh, he doesn't know what this is, I don't know what this book is, it's a Project 25, I never heard of it, I don't even know it. No, he fucking knows it. He fucking knows it so much that he's going to use it as his playbook to what conservatives want him to do now that he's going back in the Oval Office. And this book, this 900-page nightmare, was such an insane mental drain on all four of us that it took 2 episodes for us to get through just to fucking break it down. Now, here's the links for those 2 episodes for you guys. The first one is from 4 months ago, Project 2025, What We Know, and the second one was right after Trump got shot in the ear and had a failed assassination attempt on him. and we finish the rest of it off from there. We don't need another trucker convoy. I don't know what that means, Cal Canada. I'm not sure. Like, what was because what were the
referring to Donald Trump getting on that truck and doing that stupid
No, that's not it, Jose. Not the garbage thing, which apparently wasn't a deal breaker for Hispanic people. That he mocks them and fucking calls them garbage right to our face. No, he's talking about how there was a convoy of truckers that were, if I'm not mistaken, there was a convoy protest during the pandemic, and it was happening in Canada. And what do you call it? It was basically a protest against the COVID vaccine mandates and restrictions, and they called it the Freedom Convoy. And that was ridiculous. And there was an American version of that they were trying to pull off, and it didn't take off, apparently. Now, if you guys don't believe me when it comes to the shit with Project 2025, there's talk about this shit in the documents where they actually talk about how they want not only do they want birthright citizenship completely rescinded. So, by the way, everyone who's naturally born in the United States of America, guess what? You're not allowed to officially be called American anymore just by being born in America. Not only are they trying to do that, but they're also doing it to basically try and use their bludgeon of taking apart every single, department and administrative department that serves directly under the executive branch, tearing them apart from the inside out, ripping out, bureaucrats who've got decades upon decades of experience and who've been formulating different policies in order to help make the actual apparatus of the executive branch operate, and replacing it with bootlickers, replacing it with loyalists, replacing it with only sycophants, that only people who basically swear their loyalty to the president, not to the Constitution, but to the president, that only they would be allowed to serve in all these administrative departments. God, how many fucking hours did we all put into fucking reading those pages? And
A lot.
And, basically, one of those would be set directly with the Department of Homeland Security and with U.S. Border Patrol in order to try and use that along with whatever National Guard authority that Trump could try to wield with any governor who's friendly with him, who kisses the ring, to go into towns and start arresting people under suspicion of being illegal immigrants. How can we prove that we're natural-born citizens if natural-born citizenship would be rescinded? Or how can we prove that we're citizens if we've got folks who either can't work above board because they're not going to have any sort of documentation, and therefore they're not going to be able to have any sort of proof, or B, people who do work above board and don't have all the exact requirements in those in the little checklist that they've got in order to prove it once and for all. Okay. Also, Leah Aronson is in the chat. Hey up, Leah Aronson. Welcome to the Black Files. I appreciate your being here. That doesn't even make any sense. Which part? It doesn't make any sense.
Which part does not make any sense to you?
No. I'm asking, please, which part? Because it's exhausting, but I'm gonna try to help clear up whatever part doesn't make sense. I will happily try, because I swear to God, it's a pain in the ass, but I am willing to do that in order to talk at length, in order to try and help people make sense of whatever this is happening here. Okay, I'm going to share a minor secret with everyone. A minor little personal thing. I have the original copy of my birth certificate from when I was born in the state of New York, in New York City, December 2nd, 1986. And my mother went in to the hospital alone. My biological father and her had separated beforehand, and I never knew him. Never have, never will, and I don't care to at this point. If the motherfucker hasn't made any effort after 37 years, I'm not going to bother. And so, on my birth certificate, the only parent in the document is my mother, and no one else. So, at that time, in 1986, my mother was still working on her citizenship. She was working in the United States as a resident alien. The fact that I was born in the United States automatically gave me birthright citizenship. However, since my mother was not a citizen at the time, and I do not have any record of my father, who is Puerto Rican, who even back in 1986 is a protectorate of the United States, and Puerto Ricans are considered U.S. citizens. And since he's not present on the document, if they wanted to get granular with my ass, they could. These psychopaths can make the argument that I, Juan Arauz, am not a true United States citizen, and therefore can be legally deported because I'm an illegal. Does anyone wonder why I take this shit a little bit personally? I sincerely hope not. I sincerely hope not. But Juan, they're not going to come after you. You're an American.
They want to come after the Democrats.
Yeah.
They want to come after the liberals. They want to come after the independents. They want to come after the progressives. Need I go on? The gays? Anyone in the LGBTQ community? Anyone
And, of
who
course,
is
people of color, because
people of color?
Yeah.
it's
And,
just
what else
it's
am I
it's
forgetting?
easy enough. What
The
were they saying?
disabled?
What were they saying about
Women.
the legal Haitian immigrants who were living in Springfield, Ohio? Oh yeah, that they were all illegals and they're eating the dogs and all that stupid shit.
They're eating the cats.
And Trump's big idea is to deport these legal Haitian immigrants and deport them to Venezuela.
How does that make sense?
It
That doesn't make
doesn't!
sense. That's the problem. It doesn't make sense.
So you can imagine
Also-
my ass, because I happen to have a little bit more melanin in my skin than some of my acquaintances. These guys want to get fucking really antsy about it. They could say that I'm a fucking illegal because I'm Hispanic. No matter how perfect my English is, no matter how long I've lived here my entire whole fucking life, no matter how ingrained I am in this, my homeland, my native fucking land, because these kind of people who are psychotic, who will use my race as an excuse to try and come after me, and then use their harebrained interpretations of the laws they wish to push, that they wish to put into law, that Donald Trump, because he's a fucking transactional SOB, will sign off for a fucking shiny penny if you hand it to him, will try and have me deported. You want to say I'm fucking paranoid? You want to say I'm fucking being hysterical? By all means, pick apart the argument that I gave with the details that I've told you guys, and tell me with a straight and clear mind, knowing how extreme and how radical the psychotic conservative right-wing pockets of the people who support Donald Trump, who also happen to be at the highest level of his inner circle, tell me that they wouldn't use that kind of thinking to justify throwing me out of my own country. Go ahead. I'll wait.
I actually wanted. Yeah.
Go
go
ahead.
right ahead.
You first.
Go right
You
ahead.
first. No. You first.
No, I
Because
just wanted.
it's
I
gonna
don't
be
know. I
your
just
turn.
wanted to go back to that stupid thing where Trump said, like, it's Springfield. They're eating the dogs. Yeah, no, that is absolutely stupid. And in that same debate, one of the guys actually completely debunked it right in front of Trump. They got that at the ABC News. They contacted the city manager of Springfield of Springfield, and yeah, there were no confirmed stories. Nothing like that was ever reported. Like, what the fuck, guys? It was what? Yeah, it's stupid. But I'm gonna pass the ball over to Ziana Rose.
And Dragon,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
And Dragon.
So there is an ongoing issue with a lot of people in the United States, and it is called fascism.
Fascism.
So yeah. So what is the definition of this?
The
In
definition
simple
of fascism.
words.
Yep, and I've got it here for you. Fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, and ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy. Okay, that's like the most carte blanche, normal ass Encyclopedia Britannica style fucking definition of fascism, right?
Yep. Does it sound familiar?
So let's see here. Authoritarian. Donald Trump wants to be the central head of everything. He has said that he wants everyone to be who serves under him to take his word as law, and there will be no argument. Authoritarian. Ultra-nationalist political ideology. What's his fucking slogan? Make America great again? America first? Okay, we got that. Dictatorial leader. What was one of... Okay, you don't want to believe me
I just need to be dictator for a day.
Yeah, dictator on day
Dictator
one.
for only one day.
But you give them an inch and they will take a mile. We've seen that with a lot of other people.
Give a little, they take a lot.
No one should ever try and even joke about being a dictator for
Not
a day.
even as a
We are a
fucking joke,
democracy.
exactly. So, like, fucking, what do you call it? He's over here fucking, he was trying to say it in a, in an Iowa, town hall meeting, a town hall video that he had back in, back in November last year, for Fox News, of course, with Sean Hannity, because, of course, his words, and I quote, and this is from The Guardian over here, specifically, under no circumstances you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody, Hannity asked Trump in the interview taped in Davenport, Iowa on Tuesday. His response, except for day one. Trump responded. Trump said on the day one he referred to, he would use his presidential power to close the southern border with Mexico and expand oil drilling. Trump then repeated his assertion. I love this guy, he said to the Fox News Post. He said, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no. Other than day one, we're closing the border, we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator. Because we know from history that everyone who has gone on record to be a dictator have always given up their power freely and willingly after day one. Yep. That's exactly how dictators work.
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me nobody is this naive. Centralized autocracy, militarism. What's his fucking thing? A big thing. He likes how oh, nope. I've even fucking got you here. Hold on. No. Hold on. Okay. Ah ha 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 ha. Ah ha ha. Let me fucking yeah. No. You don't believe me? Over here. Get a load of this. From okay. Where the fuck is it? Where is it? I'm trying to find it. There's one specific quote that I'm trying to find. Where is it? I hope you'll pardon me. I'm pulling up from NPR.
Do what you got to do. You're
Okay.
fine.
And Juan Summers about former President Donald J. Trump's perspective on military personnel. Yeah. Here's Juana Summers host. And this came up October. So not even a week and a half ago. Here's a quotation. "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had," said by former President and thus Commander-in-Chief Donald Trump in a private conversation in the White House, according to new reporting from Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. Trump's spokesperson denied strongly that this ever happened, though it does align with the last decade of comments Trump has made, where he has repeatedly praised dictators, insulted wounded and fallen veterans, and threatened to deploy armed forces against American protesters and political opponents. Okay, like, threatened to pull up for violence and deploy armed forces against protesters and political opponents. Right there in fascism. Let's see, what is it here? Forcible suppression of opposition.
And he has said before on camera that, what was it, that he wanted to use force against people who opposed him.
He has.
What was the direct quote? What was the direct quote?
So he's said and done so much crazy shit. Yeah, Vicente Guerrero in the chat over here was saying, oh god, 900 pages over 2 episodes. That's like, where is it here? Yeah, that's like reading War and Peace or reading Mick Foley's first book twice in a week. Yeah, and he's also saying, I totally get the worry, Juan, but if even the government tried to taking away birthright citizenship, there would be massive lawsuits. Okay, 2 questions that I have about the massive lawsuits that we might have. 1, what lawyer and what law firm would stand up to this sort of psychotic, like, radicalism to try and defend people in a court of law? And 2, for those of us who would be having our citizenship revoked and therefore be deported, where the fuck would we go while this is in process? Would we get to live our lives normally? Would we be sent to a different country that we don't belong to? Or would we just be sent somewhere, tucked away? Where you can put everyone who has this similar situation together, in concentration. And just have them
technically,
set up a temporary lodging, like a camp. Yeah, where you're concentrating these
all of
people
us are
and sending them to a camp.
immigrants.
Sure. Where could we go? Nowhere. Where it would be safe. If this shit happens and I get to fucking stay and live my normal life, I would be hounded by every single psychotic maggot there is. I get thrown out of my own country? Thrown out to where? I don't know anyone who lives in any other country except for my family who lives in Ecuador. And even then, that would be a fucking disaster. And 3rd, if we go to that special temporary lodging, that might be a solution. Might end up being final. As a solution. Just saying. Just a thought. Just a theory. Holy fuck. You guys want to say that it's, anyone who wants to say that I'm being hysterical, put the pieces together with us here. Also, how you doing, Adriana G? Welcome to the Black Files. I appreciate you being here. Sorry, go right ahead.
Also, I just sent you an article, and it says that Trump threatens to use the military and DOJ to go after those who are disloyal. Isn't that concerning? I'd be concerned whatever party even tries to do that.
That's alarming.
Because we're supposed to be, we're supposed to be, we all have different views. However, you can disagree with people. But when you start saying, I don't like what you said, so I'm going to go after you, make sure you're silent. That's concerning.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Especially if you use violence to silence them.
That's red flags right there.
And since I forgot to pull it up earlier, I'm gonna go ahead and share the NPR article that shows this exact same quote from Donald Trump of, "Oh, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had." I'm sharing that, and I'm sharing the NPR article you just gave, Zayana. So I'm sharing those two right now. You guys want to say we're being hysterical? Oh, it's just words. This is shit that he's been wanting to do. The reason why... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead first. No, go ahead first.
Okay. The reason why he didn't get to make good on any of his threats or any of his promises is because there was an administrative state underneath him, people working under the executive branch with different departments, the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, the Joint Chiefs, the fucking EPA, the FDA, the FCC. He had people who for a while who were working in all those agencies who were not loyal to him, who were loyal servants of the Constitution and the people of the United States. With the Project 2025 outline he's got, they're going to make it so that he can get rid of all of them and replace them with his ass kissers. God almighty. I don't want anyone fucking trying to say that we're being hysterical. Oh, if he really meant it, he would have done it by now. He couldn't have done it because there were actually people with a conscience who were still working there, who basically either let it go in one ear or out the other, or actively stopped him from doing shit.
Yeah, if you want to refer back to Trump's presidency from 2016 to 2020, Trump was president at the time in his 4-year terms. There were still people in the White House and people in Congress that were pretty much keeping Trump in check.
Yep. Because check and balances.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing that is needed.
It's necessary.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
No. Ziana Rose, go ahead.
I blanked. Damn it.
Okay.
Go ahead while I remember.
All right. While you try to remember, I'm gonna share another thingy over here. An independent agency called the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities had actually come up with an article back in June for folks to look at, for folks to read, and this is basically the one big thing that Donald Trump promised on that he kept, which is basically giving a giant tax cut to the rich. To which it even shows over here in this article, the 2017 Trump tax law was skewed to the rich, expensive, and failed to deliver on its promises. So even this wasn't enough. So yeah, literally, as this debate unfolds, policymakers and the public should understand that the 2017 Trump tax law, quote, was skewed to the rich. Households with incomes in the top 1% will receive an average tax cut of more than $60,000 in 2025. Compared to an average tax cut of less than $500 for households in the bottom 60%, according to the Tax Policy Center. As a share of after-tax income, tax cuts at the top for both households in the top 1% and top 5% are more than triple the total value of the tax cuts received for people with incomes in the bottom 60%. Secondly, was expensive and eroded the U.S. revenue base. The CBO, Congressional Budget Office, estimated that in 2018 that the 2017 law would cost $1.9 trillion over 10 years. and recent estimates show that making the law's temporary individual income and estate tax cuts permanent would cost another roughly $400 billion a year, beginning in 2027. I'll let you guys read this part, but basically, even the one big thing that Donald Trump promised on has fucking big asterisks in it, too. So go fucking figure. Let me refresh the chat over here and I have to refresh the chat manually for some reason. I don't know why it's not letting me, why it's not refreshing automatically.
YouTube's probably being stupid.
Yeah, YouTube's being dumb. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the Joseph Santos is definitely not just words, but our courts are not on his side. Just because Roe v. Wade was overturned, that doesn't mean Trump is in charge or important. There's one problem with that argument too, the Joseph Santos.
If he controls both the House and Senate, they will literally just pass everything. There will be no checks and balances, and that is literally kind of a step towards authoritarianism. So,
and full dictatorship.
That's a concern.
And what's sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, because I remember what I was gonna say before. It was the fact that Republicans have supported a lot of things that he's been saying. Abortion and
they're basically being yes men.
Immigration's everything. So they will follow every single word that he says. That's an issue because you can't just have one, half of the country being listened to and half of the country not being listened to. Again, it's a democracy. The people should be able to have their voices heard. But if you're starting to strip rights out like a lot of Republicans want to, and we've seen this happen constantly, that is an issue. At that point, it's more of what we want goes, and the people have to deal with it.
The people just have to suck it up, basically.
In that case, what use is it to even be a citizen of this country if we're not being heard? And also, it's mainly the younger generation that's getting the fall. We're the ones who are more affected by anyone else. And he has said also, again, he wants to cut Social Security and such. What do most of his supporters rely on?
Social Security.
Social Security.
Also Medicare, but he wants to cut that too.
And also,
he wants to cut everything, to be honest.
And also, at the risk of belaboring the point, let me just put it to you this way here. Even if you try to go to like county and municipal courts and everything, even if you have a state court not picked out by Donald Trump on there, you still have federal courts, which kind of hold a little bit more weight. You want to see how many federal court judges Donald Trump personally appointed? Take a look over here. Here's the what do you call it? The 3 Supreme Court judges that he packed in. Of course, we know Brett Kavanaugh. I need another beer, I'm gonna like and foo my face off because a woman accused me of raping her while being a drunken idiot. Neil Gorsuch, who's just a fucking tool, and Amy Coney Barrett, who's basically a Karen in a robe. Let's see how many U.S. Courts of Appeals judges he put in just in the first cycle here. Let's see. You've got 54 there. And all different circuit courts. Let's see in the second round of U.S. District Courts. First administration. Actually, do me a favor. Zayana, pull up a calculator.
Okay. One sec, calculator.
54.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. So 54 plus, let's see here. Yeah. 54 plus 174.
174.
Plus 3. Plus 10. Plus 7. Plus 6. Plus 2. Plus 1. Plus 1. And plus 3.
That's 3. That is 261.
261 different judges, ranging from district courts to appeals courts to the Supreme Court.
That makes me question, how many did Biden put in then?
Let me find
Probably
out.
less than that.
So I'll mark down we have
Okay.
261.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so. All right, let me take a look over here. All right, so he did manage to get one other Supreme Court judge in, Ketanji Brown Jackson. So that's one.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that. Plus, let's see here. Court of Appeals. Okay. 44. Plus. Yeah, and all those folks were all pending there. 166. Plus 2. Plus 5. Plus 5. Plus 1. Plus 5 plus 1.
That is 261 against 230.
All right, so good news. Joe Biden did manage to get a couple handful more judges in under there.
31 difference.
So, all right, fantastic. The big problem with this is basically you've got folks who had ended their service under Biden's administration, whereas you've got folks who were in. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and tally off because I want to see how many folks in Biden's appointing had their service end, and I want to count that against how many Trump has got. So so give me a second. I'm going to actually count them off here, and so folks can actually see I'm not fucking around. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, let me see here. Incumbent. All right. So this is Biden, by the way. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, am I supposed to be counting?
No, I'm counting.
Okay.
Don't worry. Okay, 4. Yeah, no, 4. Okay, 4 of them had ended their service after being appointed by Biden. Let's see how many had actually ended under Trump. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. All right. So 8 of them left under Trump's under Trump's rule. 4 of them left under Biden. Now, that doesn't mean that every one of these is one-for-one replacements, but it does show that these folks don't really have any set terms to when they leave. They basically can leave their post when they're done, when they feel like it. So there's still issues when it comes to judges, especially on the federal level, who owe their elevated careers and elevated salaries to Trump. And same ways as when it comes to Biden. Also, Sarah Serendi over here in the super chat, it went ahead and shared a $2 super sticker. So I appreciate you there.
Thank you.
Yay!
We appreciate you for that, Sarah Serendi. Thank you. Adriana G was saying, so much wrong with Trump's presidency, but he's been chosen. So I'm just confused about what he's done and said. But we overall have chosen him. So I'm just going to try and sleep at peace today and pray. I hope you can. And Sarah Serendi, no, it's not that your messages aren't getting through. I'm seeing what you're saying over here. Trump trying to make promises like a principal promising to end bullying. I'm starting to have a panic attack for everyone's safety. Sarah, don't, please. Let's see. I was trying to buy a $5 super chat on earlier, but it bugged out. Mr. Quake is in the chat also, by the way. Hey up, Mr. Quake. How's it going? I'm panicking. I'm hot and nauseous. Sarah, do yourself a favor. I'm going to ask you for now, Sarah. I'm going to ask you, please stop watching us right now. I hate saying that, but Sarah, for your well-being, I'm going to ask you to click away from us for now.
Also, I would say put yourself in a nice, comfy blanket, get some water, and just, yeah, get nice and cozy.
Oh,
Agreed. 100%. Yes.
Read a book or something.
Cuddle with a fur baby if you can.
right. That'd be
It-
awesome.
yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
no. I mean, I can't blame
Do
her for
something to
feeling
keep your
this
mind
way.
off stuff.
This is a very, very, very heavy subject,
And
and
stressful. So
everyone
yeah,
is
I'm
feeling
sorry if
it's
they're not
stressful.
having fun, but yeah.
Everyone's feeling like shit. Everyone's feeling like crap, except for the people that voted for Trump. They can go to hell.
No.
But
No. Here's the thing. There's going to be folks who voted for Donald Trump who actually believe that he has their best interests in mind. The problem is they're not looking at the actual actions or what he's doing or what he plans on doing. They're not looking at it right. Or at the very least, they're refusing to, or they don't believe that it would happen. And to bring up a point that you made earlier, Jose, with how how pissed off we are as Hispanic guys and Hispanic people supporting Donald Trump, and why we're the ones who are gonna suffer the brunt of it. Also, Jeannie Rick is in the chat. Thank you, Jeannie Rick, for being an inner flocker for 26 months.
yay!
Wow.
Thank you for that. And also, Jeannie Rick sent us a $1.99 super sticker. It was a coffee
Yay!
cup saying
We're
tired.
all tired.
Aren't we all?
It's a tired cup. But yeah, okay. Getting to your point, Juan.
All right. The point I was trying to make here was that why are we like hating on people for supporting Donald Trump? Yeah, there's a lot of racist people who are involved there, but I'm not racist. I'm not a racist person. I like Hispanic people, or I like black people, or I like Muslim people, or I like Jewish people. I like Asian people. I don't have a single bone of hatred towards people based on their race in my entire body. But I still like Donald Trump. Listen, to which I ask, you may not be. No, actually, I'm not even going to make it a question. I'm going to make it a statement here. You may not be racist, but clearly being lumped in with others who are racists, others who are much louder than you, others who will proudly and loudly declare their racism in your name, apparently that isn't a deal breaker for you. You don't want to be labeled a racist, then what the fuck are you doing hanging with racists? You don't want to be labeled a fascist, then what the fuck are you doing hanging with fascists? They want to say how, okay. A buddy of mine that I'm not gonna fucking name him just out of respect. Well, the other night I was having an argument, pretty one-sided because he wasn't really listening, of how how Donald Trump is better at war because he didn't start any new wars while he was in office, even though there's no basis of reality or basis on truth on that. It's not only, oh hey, I officially declare war. That's not how this shit works anymore. How many operations did we have on the war on terror for 20 fucking years? Like Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Liberty Rising, Operation Lick the Eagle Balls. How many different operations was all that? We don't have to go and declare war anymore, legally through Congress, and actually have Congress have the power to declare war as we're supposed to fucking have in the Constitution. Now the executive branch, now the presidency, can just say, oh, well, there's an issue there, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring democracy. We're going to bring freedom forward over there. I hate that we've had veterans who have had their livelihoods, who have had their careers tarnished and tainted with that kind of crazy shit. I hate that because that lumps them in with it, and they didn't ask for that kind of stuff. No one does. I was arguing with this guy, and I was pointing out, like, okay, and he's like, oh, well, I also like Tulsi Gabbard, who's supporting him, and she's a veteran, and she's only been voting, like, going for being peaceful and ending all the wars, and she wouldn't back Donald Trump. Okay, if she's so anti-war, then why did she back a man who has statistically done more drone strikes in his 4-year term, the first 4 year that he did, than Obama had done in 8 years' time? Number one. Number two, actively tried to set up a coup in Venezuela, where he had a couple of jackasses who who thought themselves to be military badasses, even though they had rank, and he basically had them sent over to try to assassinate and overthrow the Venezuelan government, and successfully had an Iranian general assassinated, even though this particular Iranian general was helping us fight ISIS. You guys remember ISIS, right? Al-Qaeda on steroids? Everyone remembers how bad ISIS is?
Yeah.
So why the fuck would we be trying to assassinate anyone who's helping us take down ISIS? And then fucking, so tell me how anti-war Trump is again? Oh, also, one of the other issues that we had with Iran is the fact that they were developing nuclear weaponry. We had them set up in a restriction agreement that they set up with under President Obama, which Trump had immediately tore up that nuclear deal, which allowed Iran to get closer to nuclear weaponry and that's going to be closer to actual hostile aggression with the United States on a nuclear level. Because that's so anti-war of him. Someone make that make sense, please. I'll wait.
Yeah, no, that's going to take too much brain power for me to make it sense. But with all the chaos that's going on following the election, and of course the divide amongst us people, like that, we do need to double back on the question, the very big $1 million question that's on our thumbnail. What do we do now? Where do we go from here? Because I want to say this one. This doesn't mean the end.
Are we sure? Are we sure this time? Trump himself didn't get rid of Roe v. Wade directly. It's not like he went ahead and put it off using executive order. No. But he did appoint the 3 fucking Supreme Court judges who did overthrow it, who did overrule it. Didn't he? No, you are correct.
Thank you. You are correct on that.
It's like, so I'm not trying to belittle you on that, Jose. I'm just like did the laws of physics change while I wasn't looking, or does transitive property not exist? Yeah, no, it was Trump who got rid of Roe v. Wade. He claims it all the fucking time. And he's like, oh no, I send it back to the states. It's a states' right issue. How many states have full abortion bans now? 21, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, how many states banned abortion? Oh, no, I was close. Oh, no, okay, so, no, 21 is a different thing when it comes to states. 13 states have abortion bans over here. Here we go. Actually, here we go. Sorry, guys. Looks like I was completely wrong on both ends. Here we go. So, the Guttmacher Institute highlights 41 states have abortion bans in effect. Table 1, with only limited exceptions. Table 2. 13 states have a total abortion ban. 28 states have abortion bans based on gestational duration, of which 8 states have banned abortion at or before 18 weeks gestation, and 20 states ban abortion at some point after 18 weeks. 9 states and the District of Columbia do not restrict abortion on the basis of gestational duration. So out of all of these, a bunch of the ones that came into effect were basically grandfathered in with the promise of once Roe v. Wade got overturned or removed, that it would that these states level abortion bans would be enacted.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that like what we can do for now is that we can at the very least, for the time being, like try to be out, try to be there for each other, try to look out for each other as a
Jose?
people, as you know.
I know what you're trying to say here, Jose. However, there's a problem with that. These are the motherfuckers who claim that they won. For example, here's someone over here who just has a regular little account there on Twitter, and they got fucking sent a message from some asshole. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm really sorry for the fucking slurs, and I'm sorry for the term on it. I'm really sorry, but I've got a show. Lamau, Cope, R-word whore, no abortions for you, slut. You will be having that baby no matter what. Ha ha ha. These are the motherfuckers who feel like they won.
Okay.
You remember that asshole Matt Walsh? That idiot who was wrapped up in the whole issue of being bribed with Russian money to do propaganda against Ukraine? Fucking Matt Walsh in there. Now that the election is over, I think we can finally say that, yeah, actually Project 2025 is the agenda. Lol.
So does that mean that they were all just trying to hide that it actually was on the agenda and they were just trying to save face? Oh no,
Yep.
that wasn't happening. We don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
Hot jokes that we actually do.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Another fucking person here on Twitter. We knew more than half the country has brain worms and black hearts, but they want to remind us. You remember me telling you about Melanie Mack? Dumbass gamer girl?
Yeah.
I remember you mentioning her.
On her fucking thing. For everyone who cried when we used the words like R slur and F slur, we did what we had to do because we refused to be silenced. It was always about controlled. R word, F slur. R slur, F slur.
Okay. Allow me to be more
say it, but you can see it.
I can see it, but and allow me to be more specific, Juancho. When I say be there for each other, I'm talking about the people that are hurting from this, the people that are deeply like emotionally crashing from all of this and fearful of what's going to happen in the next 4 years. Because there are resources that are available, and we have friends who've been online and who are sharing these resources for everybody and letting them know that it's available and that it's out there for everyone. And I've been personally doing my part in sharing those resources as well.
So have I, Jose. I've been sharing the exact same ones you have. Can
I interject?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to cut you off. I promise. I'm really not trying to cut you off. I swear. I promise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
No, for cutting off Jose. I'm very sorry here. All right. Oh. So off the top here. Let's see. Where is that shit? Where is it? Because I've had it over here. Because these are the resources that we need to be having right now. Let's see. The LGBTQ suicide prevention resources. Yeah. Because this is what we need right now. Because everyone who's in the gay community, we've got to fucking like we got to watch out for them, and we got to show this shit. We got to show this. And people are gonna say, "Oh, you're being exaggerative. You're being hysterical. Yada yada." If I'm being hysterical, then this is fucking histrionic worthy. Let me take a look over here. Vote for people who aren't Democrats to replace the current officials. That'll solve a lot. No, that's the problem here, the Joseph Santos. Our two-party system's too fucking ingrained here. Because there were people who voted third party. Jill Stein got 500,000 votes. Robert F. Kennedy, who's a dumbass, got 500,000 votes. Neither of them got into the got electorals, but they got 500,000 votes each. Everyone going through this hell, you're safe with me. Thank you, Sarah Serendi. Kamala started strong, but Trump's finished strong, says Mr. Quake.
Well, it doesn't help that, she came way too late. And I do agree, Biden should have stepped down. He is too old. However, also, Trump is too old too. He's not that far, behind Biden. We need to stop having old people take over the government. I'm sorry. Whose reign should it be? Our generation, the younger generation, who are inheriting this economy. We're the ones who are mainly starting to infiltrate the workforce, who are going to end up working our way up, hopefully, to management and actually taking over from the old generation. It is up to us to then help benefit the even younger generation that we're hoping has it much better than what we have. Because I'll be honest, the millennial generation was fucked. We've been fucked since we were kids.
Pretty much. We got screwed
So,
over.
and the reason why a lot of people our age cannot get into the government is money. That's what it always boils down to. I'm sorry, but it's ridiculous that you need money in order to actually get into the government to make a difference. Yes, we can still make a difference with voting and everything. However, as you see, sometimes it just is not enough, especially when there are people who want to silence us or take away our rights. Now,
Or just
I do
kill us.
also, or kill us, yeah. I do want to make a mention that one thing that Republicans have really been strongly opposing is third trimester abortion.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Like I was very
So,
disappointed that Amendment 4 was voted down
It's bullshit.
yes, in Florida, we should mention Florida.
in
So,
Florida. Yeah.
I went onto Google, and this is what it says. A third trimester abortion, also known as a late term abortion, occurs when a pregnancy is terminated by inducing labor after 24 weeks to the last missed period. These abortions are rare, expensive, and difficult to obtain. However, the medical reasons why people try and get these done, fetal anomalies such as catastrophic genetic disorder or brain anomalies, which means even if born, the child will not be able to function and actually live. And then also, if the mother is in danger of being killed, as in the child already started to die, the mother's now having sepsis, and she will die if the baby's not aborted. Or there can also be severe medical illness, again, which the child will not be able to really have a healthy life. Most people, when they do these abortions, they had wanted this child. Most time, they already have the name picked out and everything. They're ready to welcome their child. That's hard for them. So for people to say, you just want to kill the child when it's almost about to be born, that's not it. Most people who have abortions are like, they want them. So yeah, the fact that Amendment 4 did not pass, even though it was, let me look up the final vote, if it's actually correct. It was 57.14%.
We needed it to get to
Yes.
60% in order for it to pass.
And I'm sorry, but that's fucking bullshit considering we got to 57%. Over half of people in Florida wanted this. For
But it
me,
wasn't enough.
personally, that is pretty much trying to silence the majority. Isn't it? On most states, if it gets that close, they'll let it pass.
I hate to be a fucking fearmonger at this point when it comes to this stuff, when it comes to abortion. But you guys probably saw this ad before. If you hadn't, here you go. Sorry it's too late at this point because apparently a woman doesn't have any bodily autonomy anymore as far as
Yay.
the GOP is concerned.
Crisis. Yay.
Yeah, it is complicated, Mr. Quake, but it's like no one wants to fucking lose a child and no one wants to have an abortion over here. And Vicente saying in the chat, being there for people are kind of something I'm good at. I gave a woman who was inside a dumpster digging around $2 in another plastic bottle. No, she did not ask me for anything. It was weeks ago. Yeah, small acts of kindness, it's right. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Only the rich can afford the position, which is why they're the only ones who qualify the way that qualify the way things are. Saying, it was Kyle Candace saying, man.
Yeah.
I hate being a doomer on that stuff, but I know what you mean. If you guys didn't see this before, you're gonna see it now, and I'm not gonna apologize. This is fucking shocking, but I don't give a shit. You're gonna watch it too. Sorry. Okay. You've probably seen this ad before, but if you haven't, here you go.
Dr. Davis, what do I do?
John, she needs an abortion, or she's going to die from the pregnancy.
Sorry, that's not happening.
What are you doing? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we banned abortion. No exceptions.
You can't do this. She's dying.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. But don't worry, you can still have children, just not with her.
Fuck that.
What the hell?
Oh! You never saw this ad, Jose?
We never
I never
talked
saw
about
that
it. We never talked about it.
Yeah, no, this was paid for by a political action committee called the Progress Action Fund, not authorized by any candidates or candidates committee. It's basically a fund for progressive policy in order to make sure people get the point of the shit.
My goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
God, that is disgusting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're
Give you all
fine.
the
You're
ick.
fine. And on that subject, like, getting back to my earlier point, like, yeah, no, like the other things that our friends have been sharing, thank goodness, is that one of our friends has shared an entire list from like a Google Doc spreadsheet of different like doctors over in the state of Florida that are willing to perform like
Abortions?
hysterectomies for women, you know, to help out. And as far as abortion goes, I haven't seen anything yet on that part. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, we're trying to help each other. We're trying to look out for each other by making these resources public and available. I mean, for goodness sake, even before the election, freaking Popcorn Planet, Andy Signor, he has an entire page of resources that we've shared to help out right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and share that right now with people in the chat. Give me a moment. God dang it! Give me a second. Okay. Also, yep.
Because this is the heavy shit that's hitting all of us who did not want this.
I'm scared for you, Juan. I'm scared for me too, Sarah Serendi. Let me go ahead and share this bit. Give me a minute.
We're all feeling scared right now.
Seriously. All right, there it is. Community resources available. There's the Google Doc from Andy. Thank you, Andy Signor. I appreciate it a bunch. That's the crazy thing. And yeah, standing up for each other and standing up with each other and giving each other resources, that's one thing. And it's going to be exhausting, and that's what people like Donald Trump count on, just being too tired to carry on. Too tired to fucking deal with anything. To try to fight back. And this is a little thing that I want to share. And you want to call me a nerd, go ahead and call me a nerd, I don't care. Let's see here. I'm going to read this to you guys, and I hope that everyone listens. There will be times when the struggle seems impossible. I know this already. Alone, unsure, dwarfed by the scale of the enemy. Remember this. Freedom is a pure idea. It occurs spontaneously and without instruction. Random acts of insurrection are occurring constantly throughout the galaxy. There are whole armies, battalions that have no idea they've already enlisted in the cause. Remember that the frontier of the rebellion is everywhere. And even the smallest act of insurrection pushes our lines forward. And then remember this. The imperial need for control is so desperate because it is so unnatural. Tyranny requires constant effort. It breaks, it leaks, authority is brittle, oppression is the mask of fear. Remember that. And know this. The day will come when all these skirmishes and battles, these moments of defiance, will have flooded the banks of the Empire's authority, and then there will be one too many. One single thing will break the siege. Remember this. Try. Of all fucking places, this came from Star Wars Andor.
Damn. That was pretty good. I still need to sit down and watch that show.
Yes, you do.
I have never watched it.
You should watch it. It's fucking awesome. Yes, standing with each other is one thing, but it's harder when we feel like we're the only ones. It's harder when we feel like we're the only ones suffering, or the only ones fighting, or the only ones dealing with it.
I would like to actually say something from somebody I just saw on Facebook.
Please.
Said, remember, it didn't start with gas chambers. It started with politicians dividing the people with us versus them. It started with intolerance and hate speech. And when people stopped caring, became desensitized and turned a blind eye. Again, does this sound
familiar? Unfortunately, some folks, it won't hit them until it affects them personally. And that's tragic. It's really sad that that there are people who cannot take any kind of empathy towards others until it affects them directly. It's really sad that there are people like that, and there's even sadder that a lot of people who believe that way, unfortunately, also happen to be on the side of Donald Trump and his cult. It's a cult. It's a fucking cult. Mm-hmm. There's no line. There's no two ways around it. He's a cult leader, and people who are in a cult don't know they're in a cult and don't want to believe they're in a cult. But anyone who tries to speak up for him, they're all the enemy. They're all the bad guy. Poor Christy didn't like that we started off strong and she went out. And usually Christy's right here on our side, like a ride or die. If she had stuck around, maybe she would have been over here, and maybe she could have listened. Maybe she could have seen a little more reason, or at the very least, she could have given it a second thought. But Christy didn't like that we started off strong, and I'm sorry about that. But I want to apologize for us seeing her doing this stuff, because unfortunately, this shit is right in all our faces.
Exactly. And we can't just, but that doesn't but despite everything, that doesn't mean we can't. That doesn't mean we should give up.
No, we shouldn't give up, and we're not giving up.
I do want to say, I forget when he actually made this statement, but he mentioned proposing tariffs, higher tariffs.
Oh yeah,
on imported goods.
Oh yeah.
I think it was that he wants to do 60% tariffs on all Chinese imports and a universal 10% tariffs on imports from other countries. The only issue is
every single.
And I asked Google, what does higher tariffs mean? So it means higher prices for imported goods, which means most of the ones who are importing them decide to pass that off to the consumers as in higher prices. So it's not to be lower prices.
Yeah, people don't want to believe us. Fucking take a look. Trump's win could
there
lead
is
companies to push
reduced
prices. Here's why.
demand.
NPR. Here's what Trump 2.0 means for the economy from tariffs to mass deportations. Reuters. Why Trump's tariffs pose a bigger threat to China's economy this time? You're right. Fortune. Everything we know about Trump's policies on tariff trades. CNN. Why Trump's proposed tariffs could cost you over $2,600 a year. CNBC. Trump win and threat of more tariffs raises expectations for more China stimulus. Barron's. Trump promises higher tariffs. China and Mexico feel the threat. Tax Foundation. Revenue estimates of Trump's universal baseline tariffs. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's not gonna fucking fly. Anyone who says that, oh, he's gonna make things cheaper, is he? Is he really? Did you do the math?
Well,
did you do the
also,
homework?
that means it's going to be.
Or did you just listen to him promise it?
Yeah, it's going to burden lower income households more than higher income. Because, again, we import a shit ton of stuff. You don't realize exactly how much stuff that you end up buying is imported.
Like literally in the NPR article, the economic stimulus from tax cuts would be partially offset, however, by Trump's proposed tariffs, which would raise costs for U.S. businesses and consumers and likely invite retaliation from U.S. trading partners. Trump has proposed adding a tariff of 10 to 20% on all imports with significantly higher levies on imports from China. Forecasters at Pantheon Macroeconomics projected a 10% tariff would increase inflation by about 0.8 percentage points next year and impose an additional drag on U.S. manufacturers. While Trump says tariffs would encourage businesses to set up shop in the U.S., economists are dubious. It will remain much cheaper to source goods from overseas, given relatively high U.S. labor costs, limiting the reshoring boost, said Pantheon economist Samuel Toombs. These people don't fucking do anything other than crunch numbers.
Yeah, and most businesses keep offshoring jobs to other countries because, it costs less. It's not going to encourage them to come back and try and pay people who actually want to be paid living wages. So you think that we're already struggling to pay for groceries and everything.
Right.
Also, where do we get most of our oil?
Middle East.
Most of our oil.
Yeah.
Okay, it says... No, wait, it's not that one.
Well, actually, before y'all continue, it is
You're gonna go
near
to bed,
12:30.
Oh,
Yes,
dang.
I do need to go to bed.
You need to go night.
All right.
I need to go
real
night
quick,
night.
Aze, since I could tell you were trying to wrap us up earlier, even though I wasn't done.
No, I wasn't trying to wrap us up. I was just getting to that question. I wasn't trying to wrap us up. No. Go as long as you need to.
All right. Well, in any case, since you're wrapping up on your own over here, what can we expect on tomorrow night's edition of Wrestle Rewind?
Do you also want to hear my final thoughts?
Yes, final thoughts and Wrestle Rewind. Go ahead.
Okay. I refuse to give up. I refuse to throw in the towel. I refuse to quit because Donald Trump won the election. I refuse to let his victory rule everything that's around me, including the people that I hold close to my heart. I'm gonna be much more active, and I'm gonna do what I can in my power to help. Even if it's a small amount, I'm gonna do what I can to help out. And like I said, I'm ashamed of our demographic. I'm not going to get too personal into it because I really don't want to drag anyone else into the coals. But that's just my overall opinion. Like, it's really fucked up that Trump won, despite all evidence pointing that he is the bad guy.
Not just that he's a terrible fucking choice to begin with.
Correct.
He should have never been led anywhere near this shit in the first place.
Agreed, 100% on all accounts. One, but I'm not giving up. I'm not going to quit. and neither should anyone else. And those are my final thoughts.
All right.
Now, for tomorrow night's edition of Wrestle Rewind, which is every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube Big Kick, join me and my tag partner, Mr. Juan Arouse. Tomorrow night, we're going to be covering a very special edition. We're going to be covering the Wednesday Night War. This time, WWE is playing on AEW's terms. They've moved NXT this week to Wednesday night because of the aforementioned election, and tonight's edition of NXT, NXT went back into the road at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff to talk about tomorrow night. Last week on Wrestle Rewind, we had a special Halloween edition, which was awesome, and it was campy and funny. So we hope to see you guys join us tomorrow night for more of the shenanigans.
All right, Joe, go to bed. Good night, Jose. Thank you for being here. Go the fuck to sleep.
All right. Thank you for having me here. Ziana Rose, Dragon Fang. I bid you good night as well, and I bid our viewers good night.
Anything else you need to say, Jose, real quick? Your usual thing?
Yeah, no. It's just that you were so quick to get me out of here.
Go on.
Okay. Just please remember, please, folks, be responsible of where you get your news from, and try to remember that we're all human beings.
There we go. Thank you, Jose. Good night. Go. Get out of here. Catch some Z's.
Okay. All right. Good night.
Good night. And there goes Jose. Ladies, how are you feeling? What was that?
We said,
No, I get it. Fuck. I don't know what else to
and
say.
I did find out where we import the most oil from.
All right. And
So we originally thought it was Middle East. Nope.
where from?
52% we import from Canada.
You're kidding
I
me.
mean, according to EIA.gov, unless it's wrong. I mean, that was 2023. I can just give you the article.
All right. No, you're right. Let's see. I'm showing the late in the EIA from March. Okay. So top 5 countries: Canada, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Brazil. Where we have our gross imports of imported oil coming directly from Canada and Mexico, and 5% of our imports come in direct from Saudi Arabia. So go fucking figure.
So
Whereas, let me take a look over here. Whereas opposed to the EIA, on here, it's even showing it in the they have a scale. Sorry, I know this is too granular and technical and shit for a lot of folks. They probably tune out, but I found the same thing that you brought in here. Persian Gulf countries, 10% for gross import. OPEC countries, so are 16%. So for some fucking reason, Canada sends us the most oil that we get.
So about them tariffs.
Yeah, let's go ahead and throw tariffs there too while we're at it. Why not?
So let
What can
it
go
say,
wrong?
how much do you pay in gas down where you are? Ballpark last time you saw.
About $3.20 a gallon on average. I'm just ballparking.
Really, we saw it like at 285.
Where?
We'll let you know when we come down again. Speedway?
Oh, okay.
Circle K. Circle K
Oh,
too.
Circle
Yeah.
K. Gotcha.
Well, both. Up here, an hour north,
Uh-huh.
it's like what?
3:15.
Like 3:15, 3:20. So, what do you think it's going to be when the tariffs hit then?
$5, $6.
5, 6? Yeah.
Yeah,
In that case,
it's gonna
no
be
one's
insane.
going to be able to afford it.
Everyone's gonna lose their jobs
Hmm.
because gas would be worth more than a single day's work.
I didn't even think of that. Some people spend like an hour in traffic every day. No, twice every day.
Just makes you think how much you spend on gas versus how much that you get a single day of work. And not to mention, when you actually add up the amount of gas that you waste every single day and you don't get a paycheck until 2 weeks in,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna lose money.
Yeah, so when I had to drive to work, I spent around an hour twice a day in traffic. At the end of the week, I usually had to fill up once. Now I work from home, it's not as bad, but that's a lot.
It's a shit ton.
Then what happens?
$20.
Yeah, it's like $20 and it fills me from almost empty to full up. And now,
Double that, triple that.
yeah, and the fact that when like, people forget it's not just the gas for, you know, going to work. It's things being delivered from halfway across the country or all the way across the country. Anything that goes from warehouses to the grocery stores. So in turn, the tariffs will make those rise as well.
Right. It would end up making it a fucking disaster to try to manage and mitigate. And I'm trying to figure out where else that can go.
Oh, and the good thing, our mom actually just had showed us. So at least for Florida, only 2 amendments passed.
Oh?
2 out of 6. Yeah, one is like, fuck you.
One I want to freaking murder people for.
Yeah. Okay, so Amendment 1, partisan school board members failed.
Oh, good. Yeah, we shouldn't have fucking partisanship.
You're gonna hate Amendment 2.
What was it?
Speak the Amendment 2, sis.
Right to hunt and fish. Passed.
So that means it's preferred for people to hunt and fish to control population.
That means you could basically say,
Overfish.
I'm going to hunt and I don't have to deal with the repercussions, basically.
Which means
overfishing, which leads to population decline, which leads to extinction of said species.
yeah, because isn't it that means that you can no longer like you don't need to really say how much there's no limit anymore, which again is concerning.
People think this is fine in Florida.
And then Amendment 3. You know Amendment 3.
Yeah, we were
Marijuana.
trying to make Amendment 3 happen, which was legalizing
Failed at
recreational marijuana. Failed.
55.88.
Amendment 4, abortion access. Failed.
Failed with 57% for it. 57.1 for yes.
57.14.
Yeah, and 42.9% no. And we need to get 60% or higher for the vote to pass.
Again, it's bullshit.
And Amendment 5, homestead annual inflation adjustments. Passed.
Which is good for us. It's bad for the local governments, but it's good for, the people who actually need it.
People who live here.
So like us, it's good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God. Thank God. The only thing is it doesn't help renters.
No, of
Mhm.
course not. So I'm
They
fucked
Unfortunately.
get
still.
fucked.
And Amendment
And then-
6. Amendment 6 did
Failed.
not pass, thank God, which was going to repeal public financing for political campaigns, which, by the way, folks, that's basically who, anyone who agree, like, any, candidates, for top state offices who agree to spending limits would also have additional, public funding for their political campaigns. So, it's good that didn't pass, because when it comes to small government, when it comes to local countywide stuff, the small money matching for
I'm
fundraising
glad it failed.
is important.
Mhm. Yeah, because that helps people who don't have enough money who still want to run. So then it's not just, the rich people who get the spot because they
Right.
have more money.
Right, seriously.
I mean, again, that's just Florida. And also, I do want to bring it back really quickly to something Donald Trump had said before, that pretty much, scapegoating an entire race and making everyone turn against them. And that's what happened when Donald Trump said that he accused the undocumented immigrants of poisoning the blood of our country. That's why I keep comparing him to Hitler, because Hitler also said everyone should hate the Jews because the Jews are the reason why our country is like this. They're the reason why World War I ended up with us losing. There's comparisons in there. We should never use anyone to scapegoat. It's why we always have to say, whenever we kind of shit on the Republicans, we don't shit on all of them. It's the extremists who literally will believe anything they say and who just want to take rights away. And
Like, does
the only thing
anyone
is they don't realize it's also going to affect them.
would you guys like to know exactly how fucked up and how closely tied Trump's rhetoric of, oh, they're poisoning the blood of our country is? To, like, how closely tied it is between Trump and Hitler? Would you like to know?
Both humanize
I
them.
typed in Hitler poisoned blood into Google. First pop-up, Axios. The racist history of Trump's poisoning the blood. NBC News. Trump says immigrants are poisoning the blood of our country. AP News. Trump denies denies echoing Hitler on immigration, but it's a pattern. PBS. Trump says he didn't know his immigration rhetoric echoes Hitler. ProQuest. Hitler on race and you have to scroll down to some other junk called ProQuest, which is like a scholarly journal of actually reviewing this fucking copy of Mein Kampf on there, which is fucking ridiculous. I didn't type in Trump into the fucking search bar, and this is what it fucking came up.
Again, it's because dehumanizing others like that, one specific race, one specific religion, that's what Hitler did.
And it's destined to repeat.
All right.
Mm-hmm. It's
Done.
also similar to how Kim Jong-un hates, keeps spinning people of his people to hate the Americans. It's
Yeah,
just
at
we
this point,
really
I
need to
can-
be careful of what our politicians are saying. And I mean
and what they're
every single politician, because the moment they stray so far backwards, where we literally probably have to march for our rights again for the second time, well, people who marched before are in wheelchairs.
We're saying that they will march again.
Yeah. It's a very dangerous time. And again, it's when people start to become cult-like and follow their leader no matter what.
And just become yes men.
Yeah, they just yes men it's concerning.
It's when things start getting real for everyone.
So I just really hope that we don't go towards a dictatorship, because
It's seeming like it though.
if that happens, that's when democracy ends, because you can't have democracy with a dictatorship.
Oh, they'll give you a choice, all right. You can either follow dear leader or take a bullet in the head. That's a choice, isn't it? That's still democratic, isn't it? That's a choice. You can vote for not having a bullet in the head.
Well, that's the thing. That takes away freedom.
And what is America about?
Freedom. Land of the free. We learned about that since we were kids.
This country is a melting pot.
Of races, of religion. It is not a Christian nation. It is a nation where you are free to pursue being Christian.
And you're free to not have other people's faiths shoved in your face.
Religion, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, don't hate on other religions. You know, everyone came here to be, you know, under the pretense of freedom, of living together in harmony with other people of other religions, races.
And the moment they try and take away that freedom,
It's going downward now to, I want to hate everyone that's not Christian.
I want to hate everyone who's not like me.
Yeah. And that's the most concerning part of where we're headed. Because it's going to be either follow me or you
Or
need
Be
to
set
die.
free.
No, follow me.
No, or be
Yeah.
set free.
Yes, follow me or you're better off dead.
He already said
And
that
that's-
shit about disabled people.
Yeah, and that's basically the notion that's, you know, going around now. It's either you follow him or you're basically going to be targeted.
You're the enemy.
Yeah, and you need to die, basically.
So now, if he somehow surprises us all,
I'm not that.
I will eat my own words. But at the moment,
I think that's
with how he's, what he's been spouting,
he's been spewing so much hatred.
yeah, and that's why it's really hard for any of us to really believe that he actually is for the people when he actively wants to strip rights away. So,
But then turns around saying, I love these people. They love
yeah,
me
but
too.
the constant flip-flop is
It's like, please pick a side and stick with it and don't try and confuse people.
yeah, we like to mention The Handmaid's Tale,
All right.
especially
real
for
quick.
how women are.
Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, ladies. You've had it for about a minute over here.
I'm sorry.
You're okay. I do need to get us wrapped up soon because sadly I have to fucking work in the morning. And
Holy shit, it's almost 1. Oopsie,
yeah, it's
I'm
almost
sorry.
1. Let me see here. Ulysses Fartknocker is in the chat saying, legalize pot, eliminate all student debt. Come on, Biden, this would be really funny, right? Considering he could do shit with executive order, and the Supreme Court says that presidents could do anything as long as it's
Get
within
rid of
their-
the stupid interest.
right?
Get rid of an interest, and we're fine with student debt.
Ida thinks so in the chat, by the way. Up, Ida thinks so. Welcome to the Black Files. We appreciate you being here. They were asking in the chat, isn't Trump about freedom? Sarah actually answered them, no, Trump is about control. Ida thinks so said, who says? The media? Sarah responded, no, the facts. And you know who also says that Donald Trump is about control? Donald Trump. He said it himself over the years. He doesn't care about freedom for anyone else. He wants people to do what he tells them to do. That's what he fucking based his entire business on. And for years, it's been fucking one failed experiment after another, one failed venture after another. Fucking trying to sell steaks. It's like how he fucking bankrupted 2 casinos. Fucking an airline. Fucking real estate company. Fucking phony university. Fucking a board game that never fucking did anything.
Board game?
Yeah, no, there was a Trump board game. Basically like his version of Monopoly. And it sucked.
Okay, once I got to look this up now.
Oh, yeah, no. Like his own.
A board game.
Yeah, there was a Trump board game, and it's dumb.
Oh my god, is it called Trump the Game?
Yes. I'm saying anyone who flips off like a pancake is a red flag. I don't think so. Saying LOL. Yeah, because I mean, fucking seriously. All right, Angel. Since he couldn't join us tonight, he's stuck. He was stuck working. He couldn't be a part of it. He wanted to share one little quote to try and help us try to find some way out of all this. And it's a quote from the Boondocks. Granddad, what do you do when you can't do nothing, but there's nothing you can do? You do what you can. So even when we feel like that we can't stand by and let this shit happen, but we're feeling so powerless that we can't stand against this fucking psychotic, crazy cult that he's got behind him. Like Jose was trying to point out earlier, like we were all trying to point out earlier here, we got to help out by sharing these resources, by sharing different things to help each other out, and do what we can to help those of us who those who are going to be affected the least of us in this. And I hope that it'll be enough at least for us to survive. All right. Ladies, I know that you were on a little bit of a roll, but I'm going to wrap you up over here real quick. Do you have any last thoughts or any last points you want to add to this real quick before I wrap you up?
It's going to be a rough road. And I know that a lot of our friends are like, we were already scared the first term he had, and it just did not go well. Now that there's a second term, they're even more scared now, especially considering the abortion bans and everything. That I really do think a lot of our friends actually will, if they can afford it, leave this country. With over half of the people who agree with him and who actively, even if they don't agree with all of his policies, the fact that they agree with him at all on not treating women like they have their rights, thinking that transgender and LGBTQ are subhuman pretty much.
Or people who are like non-binary or non-gender
Yep.
conforming.
Yep, all LGBTQ. And then, of course, the immigrants, especially legal immigrants. I'm sorry,
Because-
but if you are legal, you have taken citizenship. And
Like,
that takes a while.
You want to know something funny? What's crazy about all that? K-Storm was even bringing it up. Like, it's not like they're not really going to try to take out real illegal immigrants because they need a cheap workforce. They need cheap labor here.
Yeah.
They're going to point those resources towards people who are actually legal immigrants.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I said. Legal immigrants who are actual citizens. Nope, kick them to the curb. Send them back. What about, secondary immigrants who were legally born here? Send them back where? This is their homeland.
Right?
Technically, everyone is an immigrant in some shape or form because we all came from Europe, Africa, way back. Technically, everyone is immigrants, if you want to boil down to it. So I am nervous as heck, especially considering we are all females in this household. So if they try anything that literally states that women can no longer work or can no longer have bank accounts and everything, going back in time, a lot of people are going to be fucked. Time will tell, of course, but it doesn't look too good. Grass isn't becoming greener here.
Unfortunately, no.
And I'm also really worried about people finding out party affiliations for people, because that's already been happening. There are threats to Democrats, to independents, saying, you are now on a list. That's scary.
Wait, what? What about a list?
There's some spam going around.
There's been some people mailing out that some neighbors were undercover and were talking with some neighbors, and they found out those neighbors were Democrats or independents and were supporting Harris. So they added them onto a list.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
I do not have I don't have the thing right now, but I mean, even if you think that's fear mongering, it's happened before. So just be wary of saying what your party affiliation is, just as a safety precaution.
I don't know who you're telling it to. And Ida Think So was asking about why didn't Kamala do anything about the border? She was in power and done nothing. Since you're a little late to the party, since you're a little late to the party on there, Ida Think So. I'm gonna put the link on it one more time in the chat. This is all the vice president can actually do. All right, I'm not gonna, what do you call it in? I'm not gonna relitigate it all, but this is pretty much in the chat here. Senate.gov. You take a look at that. That's all the actual real power the vice president actually has. She can't order people to do anything. Not in the way people think. And I think so. Please don't be silly about not knowing how biracial people work. Saying, oh, 1 minute she's Indian, now she's black, WTF. Come on. You ever heard of people who are mixed? I mean, there's people who are like half white, half black. There are people who are half Hispanic, half Asian. There are people who are half Indian and half black. There are people who are half Hispanic and half white, and people who are there's plenty of like different people from different races, and being born from that. So come on, please don't be obtuse about that. I'm gonna ask real nicely, please don't, because that's just being like letting yourself be ignorant on purpose on there, you know, and we don't want you to do that. You deserve better than that. You know, I believe that you're smarter than that. Ulysses Fartnacker was saying, I'm actually considering getting a vasectomy when the abortion ban is implemented. I may even leave as well. I'm gonna have to put in for a vasectomy too if I'm now that I'm thinking about it, because fuck. And yeah, Sarah Serendi's right.
Ron, you did share something.
What's up?
You shared something 4 hours ago?
4 hours ago?
Yeah, you shared something 4 hours ago. Here, I'll read it. So, the guy named James E. Williams Jr. had said, agree to disagree is reserved for things like I don't like coffee, not racism, homophobia, sexism, not basic common decency, not human rights, not the right to be treated equally regardless of race, religion, color, creed, or sexual orientation. We do not have a difference of opinion. We have a difference in morality. And that is true.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, you're right. I thought you were talking about I thought you were talking about it in the YouTube chat or something. I'm sorry. I was like, wait, what did I share 4 hours ago?
Facebook.
Right. Well, this is going to be difficult, and we're going to do what we can. We're going to help each other. We're going to help those in our lives that matter the most to us, and we're going to try. And I wanted to say something else. I wanted to give one other little crazy speech here, but it might be a little on the nose, but you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. I'll do it. A character by the name of Howard Beale. If anyone knows, he was an anchorman in the 1976 film Network. This applies far more now than folks give it any real right to. I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under their counter. Punks are running wild in the street. There's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do. There's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we have 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We all know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we are living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being, God damn it. My life has value. So I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. So if you guys don't fucking see the point of that shit, fuck. Then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I'm fucking angry, I'm upset, I'm scared, I'm worried for my kid. I'm worried for my life. No, okay, I know you're not being stupid, I think so. I was like, I hope you're not. I just don't want I don't want you to, like, be intentionally obsequious or something like that. I want you to have an understanding, and I want you to see things as they really are, instead of how, like, clearly assholes with an agenda have got. My agenda is pretty simple. I don't want to fucking die on account of being Hispanic. I don't want my family to be torn to shreds on account of some of us being Hispanic, or some of us being queer, or some of us being disabled in any way. Or even worse, if some of us just so happen to vote a Democrat instead of Republican. Or, hell, if we even vote third party instead of Republican. Or specifically, voting for anything or anyone other than dear leader Donald fucking Trump. That's because that isn't leadership, that is a cult. And I shat on Scientology before. I shat on, I've shat on, of motherfuckers like Onision, who is a cult leader wannabe little shithead, who ran away to TikTok, using fucking generative AI stupid bullshit for his content now. I'll shit on anyone if they believe that they're the ones who have the end-all, be-all authority to tell you or me or anyone else how they should live their lives, and that they would have and that there would be direct and personal consequences to you from them if you don't do exactly what they say. And right now, the most dangerous person in that kind of position is unfortunately Donald fucking Trump. I have done my own research and I have my own mind. I'm glad that you have. I think so. I just really hope that that you'll be able to at least understand where we're coming from here. And we're going to continue trying to stand up for ourselves. We're going to continue standing up for each other. We're going to stand up for your rights. I'm not going to disagree with your ability to have the opinion. You're allowed to have it. I'm going to give you different facts. I'm going to give you information on perhaps, hopefully, changing your mind, or at least letting you see where we're coming from on things. Or at least maybe understand why we're fucking terrified. And hopefully you might feel for us or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not gonna ask for your pity. I'm not gonna beg you for my pity. I'm not gonna beg you to pity me or to pity my kid or my wife or my girlfriends or my brother or my sisters or my adopted family over here in the Ravens flock or my friends or the folks that I don't know, who are also equally scared and equally concerned and equally horrified that they might be targeted. Like Zayon and Dragonfang said, that there was this spam call, or that there's spam letters and emails that they're on a list now. This is not how it's supposed to be. And I don't care whether you're left, right, center, whatever. No one should have to live in fear like this. And you better believe that we're going to continue talking about the darker side of nerd and pop culture. And unfortunately, this does qualify as popular culture because, I mean, it's happening to, it's going to happen to everyone, whether you're a nerd or not. So that's popular culture there for you. And you better believe that we'll be discussing these stories and plenty other niche stories right here on this show, the uncensored and uncompromising interview and review podcast of the Ravens flock, The Black Files, hosted by yours truly, Juan Arouse. Be sure to request access as we go live every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, simulcasting on YouTube and Kick. Hit the subscribe and the follow button, ring the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our content. Become an inner flocker by hitting the join button. Until next time, continue to follow us on Facebook.com/TheRavensFlock, Twitter.com/RavensFlock13, Instagram.com/TheRavensFlockOnline, Kick.com/TheRavensFlock, and of course, remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the tiny little notification bell right here on our flagship platform, YouTube.com/TheRavensFlock, humble home of the Black Files, Los Amigos Play, Wrestle, Rewind, and the Ravens Flock. Rose Casabona, Zayana Rose, Cosplay, Dragonfang Cosplay. I'm Juan Arouse. This has been the Black Files. Take care of yourselves and each other, please.